Hello, student. I hope your paper went well. Uh, uh, Yesterday, there was a surprise to all of us that CLAT results are announced. But today, the AILET paper, most of you have got a bit relieved because the pattern was very much on the expected lines. Uh, Now, I'll be talking a bit about the basic analysis and overview of the paper. When we basically talk about the AILET standards, the expected lines is English that we are seeing from last 3 4 years in AILET exam is that English is a bit of easy to moderate kind of stuff. Then when I talk about GK, the GK paper consists of slightly moderate questions in a bit more quantity with some surprise and some abstract questions being asked which are not directly related to the current affairs, but yes, these kind of questions were also there. And then when we talk about reasoning, it's a mix of puzzles, it's a mix of series coding questions, it's a mix of logical deduction, logical reasoning, syllogisms kind of questions, and then there are a lot of critical reasoning based questions. So this is what we are expected, and this is on the basis of these lines we have prepared a lot of mocks for you for practice. And if any student who have prepared thoroughly, had gone through mocks thoroughly, would have no surprise element in this particular paper, this AILET 2025 paper, because paper was very much on the expected lines. As you have practiced a lot of mock papers, so you'll find very much similarity between them and actual AILET paper. Now, section wise, if I decode, if I talk about English, I am talking about the first impressions that we are having from this paper. After my first impression brief is over, we'll be going to detailed analysis of each and every section along with detailed solution of each and every question. And then after that all subjects been covered, I'll again come back and I'll give you brief about what can be the expected cutoffs for this year for getting into NLU Delhi. Now, moving ahead, as far as first impression of English section is concerned, the first breather was the number of passage was less as compared to last year, but there were some indirect questions also, but they were manageable. Difficulty level was very much manageable, so I'll rate this as somewhere between easy to moderate. Again, make one thing very clear: NLU Delhi exam is a very competitive exam because it is for only one particular college. So if you are a serious candidate for AILET and if you prepared a lot with focus for AILET, then this English I'll rate it in terms of easy to moderate, but not difficult at all. Fine. When the I'll talk about GK section. Now GK, as per my first impression goes, as per our first impression goes, GK would be the game changer in this paper because GK has some questions which are not directly usual questions that we say. Uh, and there are some, and I could not say GK was easy. GK was manageable for students who have prepared thoroughly well for the entire year for GK. Students who have done their own research also have read newspaper thoroughly. For them, they should have, they can be, may be able to manage GK in a pretty decent manner. If you have gone through a very selective material while your preparation in GK, then it would have been difficult for you to crack GK this year. GK was a bit tricky, and I'll rate GK as somewhere between moderate to slightly above moderate kind of level, but not difficult because students have studied a lot. So many of the questions were direct and manageable. Some of the questions are there which are not usual questions. We call them as some abstract questions, and out of the blue question. And if you have no answer to this, then definitely you can get some extra advantage in GK. When it comes to reasoning section, I'll divide it in critical reasoning and non-critical reasoning sections. Now, critical reasoning and non-critical, this year we have very slight increase in number of LR questions from 23 last year to 25 this year. So that's almost equal, I can say. But the breather was there were more questions on series and coding, decoding kind of stuff rather than puzzles. So that way, student must have got lot more time to solve questions in reasoning as well as other sections also, because puzzles will require much more time as compared to series coding, decoding questions. So that way it has come to some manageable and easy level. No surprise element was there in critical reasoning and analytical logical reasoning. The questions were as expected. There were some syllogisms questions, there were some series coding questions, there was puzzles question were very less as compared to last few years. As far as overall paper impression goes, I can rate it close to 2022 AILET and 2024 AILET also, somewhere in between. In some ways it was related to 22, it was in some ways it was related to 24 kind of paper, but again very much unexpected lines, except few tricky questions in GK, and those will be the question that will be game changer, because in AILET you see cutoffs are very narrow because there are very less seat. We are talking about only one colleges. So here, one mistake will be a very uh, will give you very uh, uh, negative kind of aspect when it comes to selection into National University Delhi. Fine. So with this, I'll just I'll just conclude my first impression brief up. Now I'll ask Kuldeep to come and give you detailed analysis of GK along with solution of every questions. And post Kuldeep will be coming with different other sections also. Fine. So just stay tuned. I'll be asking Kuldeep to come here and give you all about the detailed analysis of GK with each and every single questions and its solution. All right, Kuldeep, please you can join.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I hope your paper went well. So, I don't want that this should turn out to be a rant against the CLAT examination. But as has been the case, like always, NLU Delhi has been good in drafting their paper. As expected, your paper has always been on the moderate scale, which is what we expect the CLAT consortium also to do, so that the students who have worked very hard are able to get high scores in these exams, and people or students who have not been very disciplined with their studies or being very sincere with their studies, they might not be getting into that good colleges. But with AILET or with this NLU Delhi exam preparation, you can see that the paper pattern has been on expected lines, as Abhishek sir has talked about it in detail, that your English was basically manageable, your reasoning was also moderate. I would say with regard to GK that this year GK was from moderate to difficult side, but still I would say that it was a very good mix of questions in the GK sections. This year we found out that the static GK, the contemporary or your traditional GK has been missing. Specifically, questions from modern histories are not there. Questions from polity, economics, specifically talking about the basics of these subjects, are not there. At the same time, there have been certain questions which are categorized difficult just because they are not directly related to this year's current affairs. Many students might have been able to attempt it because if they have been going through the GK or they have been a regular reader of newspapers for the last 1 or 2 years, then those questions becomes easier for you. And many a times having some trivia with you. For example, that there is one question regarding they have not exactly asked that which particular award is known as Nobel Prize for Mathematics, but they have who has won this award, but they have asked that which particular award is known as Nobel Prize in Mathematics. So these kind of questions have been there. So if you have a very general idea about those subjects also, then also you would be able to answer these questions. Okay. So I know I've taken a lot of time in giving you a brief analysis of this particular GK section, but let's start with a question. If I had to give you a breakup of how I would rate this paper for an average student, I would say that 13 to 14 questions were on the easier side. 10 question I would mark it as easy to moderate, and I would say that there were 6 to 7 questions, total of 36 to 7 questions, which I would rate as difficult for a average student. They are easier for us faculties because we are in a regular exercise or we have been going through the GK for past many years. That's why these questions are easier for us. But if I talk about an average students, I would say that 13 were easy questions, 10 would be easy to moderate, or you can call it as moderate, and 7 questions were difficult. So I would say 20 to 21 would be a very manageable score. If you are scoring about 23, 24, if you are scoring somewhere there, then you have reached the maximum which is gettable in this particular exam, provided that you are also performing well in other section. As Abhishek sir has already told you that because it is only one college which we are dealing with here, NU Delhi, a prestigious college. I always call it that if this college would have been in the CLAT consortium, this would have been at rank second or rank third in the CLAT consortium, and it would have been favorite of students when it's come to your CLAT rankings also. Okay, so let's start with the answers for your GK section. So let's start with the first question, which I would say is a very easy question. Again, if you look at the type of question which have come, the first question is not something which was directly in use, but it is expected. If you will look at the options and if you use elimination also, then also you would be able to do it. Again, uh, for as a piece of disclosure, the answers which we are discussing is from the triangle, this set. This is from this triangle set. Okay, the triangle set we are going to discuss. So the answers which I'm going to let you know are from the triangle set. Okay. So let's start with question number 51. So I told you, if you will look at this question, it's a very easy question, a very general knowledge level question, which is basically, which of the following is not a member of the United States? So if you look at the option, obviously you know that USA and Brazil are obviously UN members. Taiwan and Honduras. Honduras is a very small country, so some might think that Honduras is not a member, but it is basically your Taiwan, which is not a member of United Nations. And the reason why it is not a member, since 1971, your United Nations also follows one China policy. China demands that if any country wants to have diplomatic relations with China, then they have to recognize only one China, which is going to be the People Republic of China, and not any other China. Okay, so because of this, you can see that your Taiwan is not a UN member. Although because of South China Sea dispute, if you had gone through in some detail of it, that wherever there is a dispute of China, Taiwan is also a party to it, because Taiwan claims that it is the original China. So there also we have discussed this. If you will go through your GK mantra, you would be able to find the answer. So the correct answer for 51st is going to be A. Okay, moving on to the next question. Again, I would rate it as an easy question. And why? Because it is simply asking you that we have this particular format, 2+2 ministerial meetings between India, Japan. We started this particular format of meeting with US, and then we have started to have it with many countries. This year we started to have this format with Brazil. Also, we have discussed all of this in detail. And in this 2+2 ministers, basically it is the defense minister and your external affairs minister, your foreign minister. These are the two parties who are basically the participant in this particular 2+3 format. And we know this, that it is basically talking about security and defense cooperation. So the correct answer for 52 is going to be B. If you will look at this option format, you can feel that it has been drafted from ChatGPT probably. Okay. Moving on to the third question. The following listed items are joint military exercises conducted by India with another foreign nation. Match the following. I would say again, it's an easier question. They have simply asked 4 different exercises in a single question. And if you have been able to, if you know just 2 of these, then also you would be able to answer it. So for 53, if you will look at the option, 53, the correct answer is C only. Veer Garjan, if you remember, it is an exercise, a joint military exercise with the country of Japan. The very famous nomadic elephant, nomad from Mongolia and elephant from India, nomadic elephant, it is a joint military exercise of Mongolia. Vajra Prahar is an exercise which we have with United States of America. This is a bilateral exercise which India regularly conducts with the United States of America. And exercise Maitri, a very new exercise which we have started with Thailand. So the correct answer for 53 is going to be C only. Okay, let's move to the next question now. So now next question, I would categorize it as a difficult question. Nupilan, also known as the Women War, was a significant revolt against the British and is often credited as one of the earliest uprising in India to be led entirely by women. In which present day state did the uprising take place? So I would mark it as a difficult question because this was not that much in news this year. Obviously, your Manipur state was in news, and you can, if you have studied something about Manipur, some women importance, or how women have been targeted in this particular conflict in Manipur, then you can say that New Zealand could have been asked. But I would rate it as a difficult question because it was not part of a student's daily reading material, I would say. So the correct answer for 54 is going to be A. Even if you have not been able to answer it, I would say that it's a very difficult question. So even if you have not been able to attempt it, there is no harm in it. Again, I would have advised that please don't make any blind guesses just because Manipur was in news, the conflict was in news, then only it might have been asked. So I would say that you could have skipped this question also. Okay, moving on to the next, a very easy question. Who is the current Secretary General of the United Nations? So you can see 4 people have been mentioned here. Ban Ki-moon, Kofi Annan are 2 of the most popular Secretary Generals of United Nations, but both of them are former Secretary Generals of United Nations. Ursula von der Leyen is not directly related to it. She is more related to your European Union, European Parliament. And it is Antonio Guterres, who is the current Secretary General of your United Nations. He is the current Secretary General of United Nations. So correct answer for 55th is going to be D. I would mark it or categorize it as a very easy question. Moving on, a very expected question, and I'm very happy that they have framed this particular question as part of its NTMHP Telemental Health Program, National Telemental Health Program Initiative. The Government of India recently introduced a Telemanas, a 24/7 toll-free helpline 14416. So even this could have been a question in your exam. What does Telemanas stand for? So we have discussed this. Telemanas stands for Telemental Health Assistance and Networking Across States, which is your option number A. I would again categorize it as an easy question because we have discussed this a lot in this particular year. So the Telemanas full form is Telemental Health Assistance and Networking Across State. Correct answer for 6 is going to be A. Moving on to the next question. Festivals in India are a vibrant reflection of its diverse culture, heritage, and tradition. Match the following festivals with the state with which the most frequently associated. Again, I would mark it as a difficult question for a student because it is very much possible that he is not aware of all these festivals and the states with they are associated. But if you will look at the option, if you are able to mark one or two, if you are able to identify one or two, then you would be easily able to answer these particular question. So for 57, the correct answer is B only. So if you know that Kadali Kai Parishe is a festival of Karnataka, if you know that your Bohag Bihu is a festival, a state festival of Assam, if you know that Uttarayan is a festival of Gujarat, the Patang festival, the kite festival, Uttarayan, and your No Kahi, the only option left, Odisha. So if you are able to come out at, if you know that these, at least two of these, if you know that two of these are the state festival of a particular state, then you would be easily able to answer it. But again, I would mark it as a difficult question for the student, for an average student. Okay, but the correct answer 57 is going to be B. Okay, moving on to the next question. Again, I would mark it as an easy question. Israel Hamas was in news, and a simple question have been asked, that they're basically asking what exactly is this Iron Dome. And this Iron Dome has been in news regularly in the past year because it is the main defense vehicle, main missile defense system of the state of your Israel. So that's why Iron Dome was in news. We even discussed Iron Shield, of which Iron Dome is a part. So you have this Iron Shield, and under Iron Shield you have Iron Dome, you have your David Sling, and you have your arrow system for small, for medium range, and for long range vehicles. So if you will look at the option, you would see that the most appropriate option for this particular question for Iron Dome is going to be option number D. It is a multi-purpose missile defense system designed to protect against a wide range of indirect and aerial threats, which is basically the purpose of Iron Dome. India also acquired S-400 Triumph for Russia, and we discussed Iron Dome that time also. Moving on to the next question, again, I would mark it as a moderate question, although this was part of GK Mantra's your one-liner series. There, this have been discussed. The Indian Air Force recently inaugurated a new training establishment, the Weapons System School, with the aim of recalibrating and transforming the Indian Air Force as a future-oriented force. In which city was the WSS located? So if you look at the option, you would know that this particular WSS has been established in Begumpet in Hyderabad, from where we are recording this particular live video also. So luckily, it is in Begumpet in Hyderabad. Moving on to the next question, again, I would call it as a static question. Again, I would call this question as a moderate question because we had discussed your National Payment Corporation of India in detail. And if you will look at the option also and use logic also, then also you could have answered it. But that's why I'm marking it on the moderate side, not on the easier side. So the question is, which of the following statement best describe the nature of the National Automated Clearing House, NACH, implemented by the National Payment Corporation of India? So NPCI, so NACH, it is basically a web-based solution where your basically your interbank, your high volume electronic transaction are being cleared. So as the name says, National Automated Clearing House, what does it clear? It clears the bulk transaction which are happening on the digital scale. So the correct answer for 60th is obviously going to be A. Okay, so again, it is a moderate question. Even you can, for some it can be a difficult question also, because it is a tendency of students to only study those particular news or topics which are specifically have been asked or have been covered in news only. Okay, sometimes it helps if you go beyond what is there, beyond the usual stuff. Okay, moving on to the next question. Again, a something which was not exactly in news, but it was in news. Bitcoin has been in news recently. Bitcoin beat the level of 100K dollar value, and now it is simply asked that which nation became the first country to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. So the first country is a South American country, and that country is El Salvador. El Salvador was the first country to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. Okay, so again, I would mark it as a easy to moderate question on the easier side. Moving on to the next question, which among the following is considered as the world's largest stateless population? I think that this is a really good question because your Chakmas, Rohingyas, your Kurds, your refugees, your Methi communities in Manipur, etc., everything has been in news a lot. Your refugee convention, your Rwanda UK convention, everything was in news. So you can simply you should know this, that which particular group among these four is the largest stateless population group of the world. So if you will look at the option, Chakmas are some Chakmas is one such group which has taken refuge in India from your Bangladesh. Rohingyas has again come from Myanmar. Your Kurd is one of the largest stateless group, not the largest, but one of the largest stateless group, which is spread into different Middle Eastern countries. Basically, the largest population lives in Turkey. Then you Turkey now, and then you have your population in Syria, Iran, Iraq, everywhere. And fourth is your Tibetan refugee, and we know that most of the Tibetan refugees have taken refuge in India only. So 4 out of 3 are actually have taken refuge, or India has given refuge to 3 of these 4. And you should be knowing this, that the world's largest state population is of the Rohingya Muslims who have been facing persecution in the state of Myanmar. So the correct answer for 62 is going to be C. And what do you understand by stateless? Stateless is basically they do not have citizenship of any country. They are stateless. They do not have any nationality. Okay. Moving on, again, I would rank it as a very easy question because your Olympics, Paralympics, everything we have discussed this in detail in CLAT examination, and same is the case with this particular exam also. So simple question: which athlete achieved the distinction of becoming the first Indian athlete from independent India to win 2 medals in a single edition of the Summer Olympics? So we have 4 or 5 cases of our Olympians who have been able to have win 2 medals, but there have been very few, or there has been none who has been able to win. Only one person who has been able to win 2 medals in a single tournament, and that happened in this year's Olympics only. And that person is Manu Bhakar. In the field of shooting, she was able to win 2 medals in this particular 2024 Olympics only. Neeraj Chopra is also one who has been able to win 2 medals, 2 Olympic medals, 1 gold, 1 silver, but that has not been achieved in a single edition. So the correct answer for 63 is going to be D only. Okay, moving on to a difficult question. Who is credited with being the first oncologist in India to have successfully performed a bone marrow transplant? So again, I would mark it as a difficult because this is not exactly something which was directly in current affairs. So again, I would mark it as difficult. And the answer to, I will straightforward come to the answer. The answer to it is B, Dr. Suresh H. Advani. So correct answer for 64 is going to be B. Moving on to the next question, which of the following is considered to be the closest equivalent of a Nobel Prize in the field of mathematics? So again, this year Fields Medal 2023 Field Medals was awarded to 3 mathematicians. So rather than asking which of the following is not one of the winners of Field Medals, they have simply asked you that which particular award is known as a Nobel Prize in mathematics, and that particular award is obviously your Fields Medal. Again, I would mark it as easy to moderate for you all, and on the easier side. Correct answer for 65 is going to be C only. Moving on to question number 66, again a basic GK question, a trivia based question. For example, in just previous classes of our CLATPREP, we discussed that what is the full form of GPT in Chat GPT. Many students didn't even know what does GPT stands for. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformers. So similarly, all of you must be having RO in your house, and there must be whenever a person must have come to your house to basically service that particular RO, he must have said that the TDS level is this, TDS level is that. You must know what does TDS stands for, and TDS stands for total dissolved solids only. So basically, it is the inorganic and organic solids which are there in the water. Okay, so the correct answer for 66 is going to be B only. Okay, 66 ka B is the answer. Moving on to question number 67. Okay, so again a very good question, and again I'm sure the students must have been able to answer this question, but because it's a long read, I would mark it as easy to moderate. So in 2004, the government of India decided to create a new category of languages known as classical language. It is Ministry of Culture. We decided what are the latest criteria announced in 2024 for inclusion of languages within this category. So if you will look at the option, I'm sure we have discussed this in detail, that because there was a demand that Marathi should be incorporated, Assamese, your Bengali should be incorporated, there was a demand that the criteria should be tweaked a little bit so that even these languages could be added into classical languages category. So if you will look at the options and if you look at the answer, I'm sure you must have been able to identify that your fifth was the criteria which was there in 2004, and this has been changed in the 2024 new criteria, in the 2024 criteria. And if you could eliminate option number 5, you can see that 5 is here, so A is eliminated. We know high antiquity of its early text, recorded history over a period of 1500 to 2000 year. Yes, this is one of the criteria. A body of ancient literature considered as heritage by generation of speaker. Yes, this is a criteria. Knowledge text, especially prose text in addition to poetry, epigraphical and inscriptional evidence. This is a new criteria which has been incorporated. So 1, 2 and 3 are obviously correct. Here 1 is missing, so B I have already eliminated. The classical language and literature could be distinct from its current form or could be discontinuous with later form, its offshoot. So we have discussed this many a times in our classes, that this is also a new criteria, which is, this is the specific criteria which has now been replaced, which has replaced the fifth criteria. So fifth is not a criteria now, fourth is the new criteria. So by this logic, you can see that the answer for this is going to be D. So the correct answer for question number 67 is going to be D. Moving on to the next question. Okay, the movie The Man Who Knew Infinity depicts a life story of. So again, it was not directly in news this year. This is probably from previous year because that movie was in news, and earlier also in some other law entrance test also this question has come up, that this particular movie, The Man Who Knew Infinity. So this is basically autobiographical movie of your Srinivas Ramanujan, a very famous English movie. So the correct answer for 68 is going to be C. Again, I would mark it as easy to moderate for an average student. Next question, who was known as the Bard of Brahmaputra? Again, I would call it something from your from general knowledge question, your static portion. And the person who is known as Bard of Brahmaputra, the very famous Bhupen Hazarika, the very famous musician from the state of Assam. So correct answer for 69 is going to be B. Moving on to question number 70. Again, a very easy question. This can be marked as an easy question because it is basically talking about that we have now just initiated your Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, and new categories of awards have been. So now a single category has been created and subcategories under this particular edition has been created. And if we talk about the first edition, the new additions or the new awards which are provided under this particular series of Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, we have your Vigyan Ratan, we have Vigyan Shri, we have Vigyan Yuva Shanti Shru Bhatnagar Award, the founder of CSIR, and we also have Vigyan Team Award. Obviously, this year awards have also been provided, but we do not have any award which talks about Vigyan Avishkar. So the correct answer for 70 is going to be A only, because fifth is not one of the awards. All four are awards under this particular category. So correct answer for 70th is going to be A. Moving on to question number 71. Again, I would say that it would be a moderate question because it has not exactly asked you that who is the winner of International Booker Prize of 2024, but it has asked you why this particular award was special. So the 2024 International Booker Prize was awarded to Jenny Arpanbach for Kairos, and which of the following makes the win notable? So this win is notable because this is a first book. This is the first book which has been translated from German to English by a male translator, and it has been awarded the International Booker Prize. That's why this award was important, or this award was in news. So the correct answer for 71 is going to be A. Okay. So again, I would mark it as moderate. Moving on to a question for cricket lovers, MS Dhoni lovers. MS Dhoni is considered to be one of the most successful captain and played in the popular IPL. Which other franchise in addition to the Chennai Super King has Dhoni played for? So if you remember that at one point of time, two teams of your IPL were suspended because of some corruption allegation, and two new teams were added, and the players who were participating, who were there in that particular team, were distributed in some other teams, and that particular team from which MS Dhoni played in for the next 2 years was basically your rising Pune Super Giants, apart from Kochi Kerala was other team. So the correct answer for 72 is going to be A. I'm sure most of you must have been able to answer it. Let's look at question number 73. Which Indian football sporting club won the inaugural ASEAN Football Championship hosted by Indonesia in 2003? Again, I would mark it as a difficult question for you all, because the correct answer for this is East Bengal Football Club, which won the 2003 inaugurated tournament. This particular tournament is being revived, and probably in the next year, this particular championship is again going to be hosted. This club championship is again going to be hosted. That's why it was in news. So the correct answer for 73 is going to be D. I would mark it as a difficult question. Moving on to question number 74. Perseverance rover launched by NASA is famous for its mission to explore the surface of this celestial body, particularly to seek signs of ancient life and collect samples for future return to Earth. Again, I would say that not exactly in news this year. Perseverance has always been in news. There is some or the other discovery which is provided by Perseverance rover, but this was not exactly in news. So probably I would say that this was in news last year also. So you can see that people who are planning to give AILET next year, they should be focusing on news from this year also for the next year AILET also. Okay, so 4 options are there: your Mercury, Mars, Juno, and Titan. We do not have any rover on Mercury, Juno, and Titan. We only have a rover on your Mars planet and your moon also. So the correct answer for 74 is going to be B only. Again, I would mark it as an easy question for you all. Moving on to another easy question. The Nobel Peace Prize for 2024 was awarded to which particular group? So we know that this particular Nobel Peace Prize for 2024 has been awarded to Nihon Hidankyo, which is basically a group which is advocating against proliferation of your nuclear weapons. So correct answer for 75 is going to be C. Moving on to the next very easy question. What is the international significance of 21st June? So it was India's initiative that it wanted that 21st June, which is the day of summer solstice, should be declared as International Day of Yoga by the UN. And now we celebrate on 21st June every year, International Day of Yoga. Again, I would mark it as an easy question, and 76, the correct answer for 76 is going to be C. Moving on to the next question, again a very easy question. According to the Swachh Sarvekhan 2023 ranking, which of the following city was ranked as the cleanest city in India? I would have loved it if they would have asked some the second city, which for the first time have been ranked as the cleanest city in India, which is I'm talking about city of Surat. But this is the city of Indore, which has been the top ranker for the last 3-4 years from whenever we have started this Swachh Sarvekhan rankings of 2023. So 77, the correct answer is going to be B. Okay. Moving on to question number 78. Basically, we have discussed this in class. So this particular question must be easy for a CLATPREP student, but for an average student, it would be a moderate to difficult question. It is simply asked you to match the dance form, the classical dance forms with different states in which they are popular. So if you will look at Bharatnatyam is a very popular dance form from the state of Kerala. So A is related to 4. So only D is there. B, Satriya is a famous dance form of Assam. Again, all of these are classical dance form. Kathakali is a dance form for Tamil Nadu, and Kuchipudi is a famous dance form from Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so the correct answer for D. So for 78, the correct answer is going to be D. Okay, so sorry. A is Bharatnatyam is from Tamil Nadu. A ka 3 hona chahiye. So this is not going to be true. A ka 3. So A should be the answer for 78. So for 78, the answer is A. A ka 3. Bharatnatyam is from Tamil Nadu. Satriya is the famous your classical dance from Assam. Kathakali is a dance from Kerala, and Kuchipudi is a very famous dance from Andhra Pradesh. So the correct answer for 78 is going to be A. Moving on to question number 79. Vinesh Phogat. So again, a question from Olympics. We know that Vinesh Phogat was disqualified because her weight was minutely more than the weight category from which she was fighting, and because of this, she went into appeal against the decision of the Olympic judges in that particular case, and that particular appeal went to Court of Arbitration for Sports, which is in option A, and we had discussed this particular case in detail. Your Court of Arbitration, which is located in Lausanne, Switzerland, there the appeal was in, and where this appeal was also dismissed. So the correct answer for 79 is going to be A. And finally, the last question for today, and I would mark it as a difficult question. So question number 80, in September 2024, a new scheme, BioRide, was approved in the area of biotechnology. Identify the component of this particular scheme. So if you specifically read this scheme, then you would be able to answer it. But you know this, that if you will look at the options, one of the option is not correct. So if you look at the option, biotechnology research and development, it is basically the main objective of this particular thing, main component. The second component is basically industrial and entrepreneurship development. This is also another objective. And third, biomanufacturing and biofoundry is also one of the initiatives. But biotechnology parks and international collaboration is not one of the component of BioRide scheme. So the correct answer for 80th is going to be option 1, 2, 3. So option A is going to be correct. So the correct answer for 80th is going to be A. Okay, so student, again, if I wrap up my particular this GK analysis, you can see that GK has been on the moderate side. I wouldn't call it easier paper, but still, if you are scoring somewhere 20, then you are on the better side of this particular AILET GK section. And if you have been able to attempt properly the other portion of the exam, I'm sure you would be able to pass this exam. Okay, so that's it from the GK section, and now I will forward it to the next faculty who's going to take the analytical reasoning section with you all. Okay, so thank you.
Hello students, I hope your exam went well. And this is Venkatesh. I am here to discuss analytical reasoning section. And our question number starts from 130, 120, 111, 110. It's from question number 110. Right. Before going to discuss the questions, I would like to give the analysis of the paper first. And from the area of analytical reasoning, they gave totally 25 questions. They gave totally 25 questions. Out of these 25 questions, 22 are easy and 2 are of moderate level of difficulty and 1 is difficulty. So overall the paper is easy comparing to the last year. And coming to this question comes under the area of puzzles. Once we'll go through the information. University academic department is finalizing the class schedules for the incoming batch. The subjects are criminal law, property law, economics, legal methods and English. The following considerations are kept in mind, and we have given the 5 conditions, and followed by that we have 4 choices. And what are the conditions given? All subject must be held once. And the second condition is given: legal methods, English and English cannot immediately precede or follow each other. And basically what they are trying to say is both these legal methods and English cannot be in consecutive positions. And instead of solving these questions, better if you go through the choices, the elimination will be very, very easy. Right, we'll go through the choices. Okay, and legal methods and English cannot be preceded or following each other. If you observe that, choice C, legal methods and English are adjacent to each other or they are in consecutive sessions. So we can rule out the choice C. We can rule out the choice C. Now let's move on to the second clue, a third clue. Economics must immediately precede property law. And if you observe the fourth clue, economics must immediately follow English. So by combining these two, you can say that English and followed by English, economics, and followed by economics, we need property law. Property law. Let's observe the choices: English, economics, property law. These three should be in the 3 consecutive sessions. Now, English, economics, property law, yes, we have. So option may be our possible answer. We don't know as of now. And option B, we have property law, economics, and English. So it is violating the condition. So B is also ruled out. And when it comes to the choice D, yes, we have English, economics, and property law in these 3 consecutive positions. So it can be the choice. And if you go to the fifth clue, criminal law cannot be the second or the last subject. Criminal law cannot be the second or the last subject. If you observe the choice A, criminal law is in the second position, so it cannot be the choice A. So option A is ruled out. So we left with the only option D, and it is our answer choice D. And the level of difficulty of this question is rated as easy. If you go through the choices, don't try to solve the set. Well, if you go through the choice, it will be easy. Now move on to the question number 2. It is also similar to the question number 1. Once go through the information, Vinay is trying to decide the sequence in which the watch the following movies: Sholay, RRR, Slumdog Millionaire, PK, and Dangal. The sequence must adhere to the following conditions. So we have to find out the sequence. Now, if you observe the choices, SH and DL must not immediately precede or immediately follow each other. It means according to the sequence, those should not be in consecutive positions. SH and DL, SH and DL as in different positions. SH is here, DL is here. and SH is DL is here, SH is here, DL here, SH is here, and DL here, SH is here. Yes, they are not immediately preceded or immediately followed. And it is given second clue, RRR must go after SM means after SM somewhere, maybe immediately or may not be immediately, but after SM somewhere we need RRR in the sequence. After SM somewhere we need RRR. But if you observe carefully here, after RRR we have a SM. So choice A is ruled out. Similarly, if you observe the B, after RRR we have the SM. So it is violating the condition. So B is ruled out. Now observe the C. Yes, RRR is there after SM. It is not violating any of the given conditions. And in the choice D also RRR is there after SM. It is not violating any of the conditions. So still C and D are available. Now let's move on to the next option. PK cannot be the first or the last movie. Yes, in option C as well as in option D, PK is not the first or the last movie. So it is not violating any of the condition. Now let's move to the fourth option. DL must necessarily be one removed from SM. The simple meaning is there should be at least one gap between DL and SM. They should not be adjacent to each other. There should be at least one gap between DL and SM. If you observe the choice C, between DL and SM, there is no gap. So choice C is ruled out. So we have the only one option, it is D. Choice D is the answer. Right? Now let's move on to the question number 112. Right. Let's look at the question. Sanjana is attempting to create an exercise plan for a 5-day week. She was deciding on the following exercises A, X, Y, A, X, B, Y, C in accordance with following conditions. Right. Let's look at the conditions. What is the first condition given? A and Y cannot be on the consecutive days. A and Y cannot be on the consecutive days. Now, if you observe the first option, A and Y scheduled on consecutive days. So option A is ruled out. Now, let's look at the choice D. Even in the choice D also, A and Y are in the consecutive positions. So D is ruled out. Now we left with the B and C. If you observe the B and C, A and Y are not scheduled consecutively. A and Y are not scheduled consecutively. These two, one of these two may be our choice. Now let's move on to the next. C must always be followed by B. Yes, C is followed by B. C is followed by B. C is followed by B. Both the options are still available. Now let's move on to the third option. B and A cannot be done on alternate days. If you observe here in the choice B, B and A are on alternate days. So choice B is ruled out. Now we left with only choice C. So C is the answer. And the level of difficulty of this question is easy if you go through the choices. Right, my dear students? Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 113 is from the area of syllogisms. Right. Right. Let's look at the statements. All rabbits are sleepers. All tortoise paints. Some rabbits are tortoise. Siri is a rabbit. Examine the following statements. We have given 6 statements and we have to choose the which is the correct answer. Right. Let us draw the basic diagram for these given statements. What the first statement is given? All rabbits are sleepers. Let us represent with R. Rabbits are sleepers. All rabbits are sleepers. Right. But the second statement is given? All tortoise paints. As of now, we cannot link with this diagram. Now let's move to the next statement. Some rabbits are tortoise. Some rabbits are tortoise. Some rabbits are tortoise. Now let's move on to the previous statement. All tortoise paints. So all tortoise should come inside the paints. And what is the next statement is given? Siri is a rabbit. Siri is a rabbit. So Siri should be placed inside the rabbit. Siri should be placed inside the rabbit. Right? Now this is the basic diagram of the given statements. Now let's move on to the conclusions. What is the first conclusion is given? Siri paints. It's a positive conclusion. It's positive conclusion. Right. Siri paints. It is a positive conclusion. Is Siri, this portion is inside the paints? No. So one is not a valid conclusion. Now let's move on to the second one. Siri does not paint. Siri portion is outside the paint. Yes, but it is a negative conclusion. It's a negative conclusion. When if the negative conclusion is true, we are going to draw an alternate diagram, right? Okay. Once again, we'll draw the basic diagram. What are the given statements? All rabbits are sleepers, and some rabbits are tortoise. Some rabbits are tortoise, and all tortoise paint. And Siri is a rabbit. Siri is a rabbit. Right. Now let's look at the second conclusion. Siri does not paint. So here Siri does not paint is true, but it is a negative conclusion. If the negative conclusion is true, we are going to draw an alternative diagram. What is an alternate diagram? Whenever the negative conclusion is true, we are going to draw alternate diagram. What is the complementary of this? What is the opposite of this? Siri does not paint. Some Siri are not paint means all Siri should be inside the paint. So can we able to place all Siri inside the paint? Yes, we can place here all Siri inside the paint. Now when you place it, there won't be any problem, right? So this conclusion is negated, so it does not follow. Now let's move on to the third one. Siri is a sleeper. Is a Siri diagram is inside the sleeper? Yes. So third one is a valid conclusion as of now. Now let's move on to the fourth one. Siri is not a sleeper? No. Siri is completely inside the sleeper, so it is not a valid conclusion. Fourth one. Now what is the fifth one? Siri is a tortoise. Is diagram Siri is inside the tortoise? No, it is not. So fifth one is also not a valid conclusion. Siri is not a tortoise. Yes, it is true. Siri is not a tortoise because there is no relation between Siri and tortoise according to the basic diagram. But this is a negative conclusion. Once the negative conclusion is true, we have to draw an alternate diagram, right? What is the alternate diagram is for this? Siri is not a tortoise. All Siri should be placed inside the tortoise. Whether it is possible or not, let's see. All Siri should be inside the tortoise. Yes, I can place Siri here. Now, once the Siri is placed here, this conclusion will be negated. So, this negative will become false. So, only conclusion 3 follows. So, choice A, only 3 follows. And this question can be considered as easy level of difficulty. Level of difficulty is easy. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Right, question number 114. Again, similar question, syllogisms questions. All cherry are pink. So let's draw the basic diagram. Cherry should be inside the pink. Cherry should be inside the pink diagram. Now, what is the second statement is given? Some pink are made into cake. Right. So some pink, it is cherry and it is cake. Now, what is the next statement is given? All cake is eaten. So the diagram cake should be inside the eaten. Right. Banana is pink. So banana should be placed inside the pink. So here banana. Right. Now this is the basic diagram of the given statements. Now let's move on to the conclusions. What is the first conclusion is given? A banana is a cherry. Is the diagram banana is inside the cherry? No. Both are disjoint sets. So conclusion 1 does not follow. Right. Banana is not a cherry. Yes. As per the basic diagram, banana is not a cherry. But it is a negative conclusion. Once the negative conclusion is true, we are going to draw alternate diagram. What is the alternate diagram for this? Banana is not cherry. All bananas should be inside the cherry. Is it possible to place? Yes, I can place here. All bananas inside the cherry. Then there is nothing wrong. It is not going to violate any of our given statements, all bananas can be placed inside the cherry means the conclusion which we thought of earlier true is false now. So this is not a valid conclusion, right? Let's move on to the third one. In the third one, there is a tricky part is maybe banana may be made into cake, right? So can we place this banana inside the cake? Yes. Earlier, basic diagram it is here. I may draw here also without violating the statements, right? I can draw banana here also, right? This can also be banana, right? So banana placing inside the cake is possible, and even they are saying that banana may be made into cake. It is possible. So it is a valid conclusion. So third one is valid conclusion. Now what is the fourth one is given? Banana will definitely be. I'm sorry. Earlier is possible, maybe. Now they are saying definitely be. When we say that definitely true, if it is true in all the cases, but in the basic diagram, banana is here and cake is here. Both are disjoints, right? So it is not possible. So fourth one is not a valid conclusion. Now what is the fifth one is given? If banana is cherry, then it will be eaten. So let's say cherry and banana are equal. Both are overlapping circles, right? The diagram is not here. Banana is equal to cherry. Now if banana is cherry, then it will be eaten. Still, banana diagram is far away from this diagram, right? So both are disjoint sets. So even this cannot be the valid conclusion. So only 3 is the valid conclusion, that is choice A, right? Now let's move on to the next question. Letter series questions, right? Let's observe the pattern. What is given here? First letters in each group A, C, G, M. I'm sorry, right? A, C, G, M. Let's write the place values according to the English alphabet. A is 1, C is 3, C is 3, G is 7, M is 13, right? Now M is 13, right? 1, 2, 3, it is increased by 2. It is increased by 2. 1, 2, 3, it is increased by 2. 3 to 7, the position value is increased by 4. And 7 to 13, position value is increased by 6. Increased by 6. So plus 2, plus 4, plus 6. Next will be plus 8. So 13 plus 8 is 21. So which letter position value is 21? U. Now how many options are starting with U? 2 options. So option A is ruled out and option B is ruled out. Now let's look at the numbers. What are the numbers given? 3, 5, 9 and 15. Now 3 to 5, it is increased by 2. 5 to 9, it is increased by 4. 9 to 15, it is increased by 16. Plus 2, plus 4, plus 6. And next will be then plus 8. So 3 plus 2, 5. 5 plus 4, 9. 9 plus 6, 15. So 15 plus 8, the value will be 23. 15 plus 8, 23. Now observe the options. U23N, U19L. So D is ruled out. Now only available option is C, U23N. Now let's see the next question. 2A, 4C, 8F, 16J. Let's observe the numbers 2, 4, 8, 16. Each time it is getting doubled. 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 8 to the 16. Now 16 to the 32. How many options starts with 32? Option A and option D. So B is ruled out, C is ruled out. Now let's identify the logic in the letter. What are the letters given? A, C, F, J. I'm sorry. Position value of A is 1, C is 3, F is 6, J is 10. J is 10. 1 to 3 plus 2. 3 to 6 plus 3. 6 to 10 plus 4. So plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. There is an increase of plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So 10 next will be plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. 10 plus 5 is 15. Which letter position value is 15 in the English alphabet? O. So 32 O will be our answer. It is choice A. In the exam, you can stop when you reach 32 O, right? So D is ruled out. Our answer is 32 O. In the previous question, when you got EU23, you can directly take your answer as a C. No need to check the remaining letter. But here we need to check. Okay, let's move to the next question. Again, the question from letter series, and the previous two questions are of easy level of difficulty. Now, 1A, 2B, 4D, 8H. Again, if you observe the numbers, 1 to 2, it is getting, exactly double. 2 to 4, it is double. 4 to 8, it is double. Now, 8 to the 16. So, your answer should start with 16. How many options are with 16? Two options. D is ruled out, A is ruled out. So, B, C. Now, observe the letters. Position value of A is 1, of B is 2, D is 4, H is 8. Again, it is also getting doubled. 1 to the 2, 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, and 8 to the 16. So, which letter position value is 16? P. So, your answer will be 16P. That's in choice B. So, B is the correct answer. And C is ruled out. And the level of difficulty is easy. Now, see the question number 119. Complete the following series. Let us identify the logic in the numbers first. What are the numbers given? 2, 5, 10, and 17. 2, 5, 10, 17. Identify the logic in the numbers. 2 to 5 increased by 3. 2 to 5 number is increased by 3. 5 to 10 number is increased by 5. And 10 to 17 increased by 7. Plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. If you consider this series is prime number series, next will be 11. Next will be 11. If you consider this series is odd number series, then it should be 9 plus 9. Let's see which is correct. 17 plus 9, 26. 17 plus 11, 28. Both are correct, but which is given in the choices is important for us. So we have only 26. So B is ruled out, D is ruled out, choice C is ruled out. Now we have only one answer, choice A. So in the exam you can stop here, but here we'll discuss how the letter L has come. Now what are the given letters? Z. And what is the next letter? X, U, and Q. Z position value is 26, X position value is 24, U position value is 21, Q position value is 16 according to the English alphabet. 26 to 24 or minus 2. Minus 2. 24 to 21 or minus 3. 21 to 27 or minus 4. Minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So what will be next? Minus 5. 17 minus 5 is 12. Which letter position value is 12 in the English alphabet? L. So L. So L 26. Now let's move on to the next question. 119. Complete the following series. Number series is given. 9, 19, 39, 70, and 9. Okay, let's see. What are the given numbers? 9, 19, 39. Okay, 9 and 19 we can write it as 9 into 2 plus 1. 9 to the 18 plus 1 is 19. 19 to the 38. Again 19 to 39. 19 to the 38 plus 1 is 39. Next, 39 to the 78 plus 1 is 79. Similarly, what should be the next logic? 79 into 2 plus 1 into 2 plus 1 is the logic. 79 2s 158 and plus 1 is 159. It's choice B. Choice B. And the level of difficulty of this question is easy. Simple logic into 2 plus 1. Now, this question comes under a moderate level of difficulty and from the area of coding and decoding. It's moderate level of difficulty because they given tricky logic here, right? BCXHADBT is written as 23681422. Then how is KTLVPTBA is written, right? Let's write the position values. B position value is 2. C position value is 3. X position value is 24. H position value is 8. A position value is 1. D position value is 4. B position value is 2. T position value is 20. Now, if you observe carefully, B, C, H, A, D, B position values are single digits 2, 3, 8, 1, 4, and 2. These letters are single digits. So, whichever the letters having the position value as a single digits are taken as it is. Okay. If you want, you can cross check it 2, 3, and then 8, 1, 4, 2. Now, what about the remaining 2? X position value is 24 and T position value is 20. Sum of the digits is taken. Sum of the digits is taken. Where the position value of the letter is 2-digit number, sum of the position values is taken. 2 plus 4, 6. 2 plus 0, 2. So 6, 2. Perfectly matching. Now, let's see this KTLVPTBA. Let's write the position values. K position value is 11. So 1 plus 1, 2. Right. T position value is 20. So 2 plus 0, 2. How many options are starting with 2, 2? So B is ruled out, D is ruled out, and A is okay, and C is also okay. Fine. Now let's move to the next letter. L position value is 12. 1 plus 2, 3. Sum of the digits 2, 2, 3. Only one option is starting with that choice A. Similarly, you can check with the remaining digits. Sum of the position values. Now let's move to the next question. Even this is also moderate level of difficulty question. Letter series seems like simple and moderate level of difficulty, and we have two answer choices here. I will explain the logic, then you will come to know that what are the two answer choices we have for this question. B, C is missing. Letter C is missing here, and D, E, F, and G is missing here, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Now, but here we have taken only one letter, and here we have taken 3 letters, and here we have taken 7 letters. 1 letter, 3 letters, and 7 letters. Next, how many letters should we take? Now, how to find it? Simple. Here to here, there is an increase of 2 letters, and 3 to 7, there is an increase of 4 letters, plus 4, plus 2, plus 4. Then what will be next? Are these consecutive even numbers, or every time it is getting doubled? We don't know. If it is a consecutive even numbers, plus 2, plus 4, then it will be plus 6. Then it will be plus 6. If every time it is getting doubled, then it is 2 to the 4 and 4 to the 8. So plus 4 plus 8. Now 7 letters, we have 7 plus 6, 13 letters should be in the answer choice, or 7 plus 18, 7 plus 8, 15 letters should be in the answer choice. 7 plus 8, 15 should be in the answer choice. And after N, one letter should miss. O is missing, then it should start with P. So P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, A, B. Exactly, we have 13 letters here, starting from P to B. And if you observe the choice D, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. Exactly, we have the 15 letters. So option B is matching, option D is also matching. So our answer choice is a B or a D. Both are correct. B is correct, D is also correct. Now let's see the question number 122. Right. Again, let's check the logic for the first letters. What are the first letters in each group? X position value is 24. Let me write here. X is 24 and V is 22 and T position value is 20. I'm checking the first letters in each group. I'm identifying the logic in the first letters. Now R position value is 18. 24, 22, 20, 18. Clearly you can see the pattern, that is minus 2. So 18 minus 2 is 16. So which letter position value is 16? P. My answer should start with P. So only I can rule out first option. A is ruled out. Rest all are correct. Now let's check the logic in the number. Because all these options are starting with P only, but the numbers are different, 30, 40 and 24. So definitely by identifying the logic in the number, we can find out the answer. Right? It is enough for us, right? Now, let's look at the numbers. 2, 6, 12, 20. So 2 to 6, there is an increase of plus 4. 6 to 12, plus 6. 12 to 20, plus 8. 4, 6, 8. Consecutive even numbers. So what will be next? 4, 6, 8 and then will be 10. 20 plus 10, 30. So what is the number required? 30. So it is not D. D is ruled out and it is not C. So we have only one option, that is B. So choice B is the answer. Right? Now let's move on to the next question. And these questions are very, very easy questions. I hope you did not miss these questions. Verbal analogies questions. All are easy level of difficulty questions. Cement is to buildings, then cement is a raw material used to construct the buildings. Similarly, clay is the raw material is used to construct the pots. Choice B is the answer. Very simple, right? Now, let's move to the next question. Photographer is to camera, then we have to choose from the answer. Photographer uses camera. Similarly, painter uses brush. So choice C is the answer. Now, come to the next question. Familiar is to strange. Opposite words. So we have to find out the answers. Opposite pair from the choices. So careful and careless are the opposite pairs. These two are opposite words. So choice B is the answer. All these questions are easy level of difficulty. Tree forest. Several trees makes forest. Several trees make forest. Similarly, several stars makes galaxy. So choice B is the answer. Lotus is to water. Lotus grows in water. Similar logic we have in the choice D. Lice grows in hair. Choice D. Next, cheese is to milk. What is the relation? Cheese is made of milk. Cheese is made up of milk. Similarly, omelets are made up of eggs. So choice A is the answer. Okay. Again, we came back to syllogisms questions. Let's discuss the syllogism again. 129. All gadgets are machines. Let's start the basic diagram for this. All gadgets are machines. So gadgets are inside the machines. Now, what is the second statement is given? Some gadgets are tools. Some gadgets are tools. Next, all machines are useful. All machines are useful. Right, we have machines here. So all machines are useful. It is a basic diagram. Now let us look at the conclusions. What is the first conclusion given? Some tools are useful. Yes, definitely this part of the tools are useful. So one follows. Now let's see the second one. All that is useful are machines. Is all these useful or inside the machine? No. Machines are the complete part of machines are inside the useful, but it is not that all useful are inside the machines. So 2 is not a valid conclusion. Now let's see the third one. All tools are gadgets. Is the all tools diagram is inside the gadgets? No. So it is not. Third one. So third one does not follow. So only one follows. Choice A. And these questions can be rated as difficult questions. Right. So what is given? All International Court of Justice (ICJ) judgments are binding on parties involved in the case. Some ICJ judgments have persuasive value. Right. In domestic courts, judgments of domestic courts can be referenced by ICJ, but they are not binding. Now, what is the first option is given? Some ICJ judgments are binding on domestic courts. We do not have any reference of that. Just we have the information that ICJ judgments have persuasive value. We don't have information regarding the binding. So one is not the valid. Now, second one, some domestic court judgments are binding on the ICJ. It is invalid. It is exactly violating our given statement. Now, what is the third one is given? ICJ judgments can be. Can be is it to strengthen the arguments in the domestic courts? Yes, that we can refer. Right. That we can refer because it is given can be. So only 3 follows. Its choice D. Now let's move on to the next question. All drivers are tall. Okay, let's draw the diagram for this. All drivers are tall. All drivers are tall. Now, what is the second statement is given? Some tall persons violate traffic lights. So, some tall persons violate traffic lights. Traffic lights. Next, all who violate traffic lights are fined. So, traffic lights complete diagram should be inside the fined diagram. Now, what is the next? B is a tall. So, B should be inside the tall. B should be inside the tall. Now, let's observe the conclusions. What the first conclusion is given? B is a driver. Is the diagram B is inside the driver? No. So, one is not a valid conclusion. B may violate a traffic light. It is given may, a possible conclusion. Possible. B may violate a traffic light. So, B can be placed here. Yes, without violating any condition. So, 2 is the valid conclusion as of now. Now, what is the third one? B will definitely violate the traffic light. Say, according to this diagram, basic diagram, it need not be. So, 3 is not a valid conclusion. Now, what is the fourth one? If B is a driver, B is equal to D. B is equal to D, overlapping circle. He will get fined? No, as of now, it is not required, right? Because drivers are not getting fined here. Now, what is next? B will definitely get fined. As per this basic diagram, diagram B and fine diagram are both are disjoint sets. Even 4 and 5 are also invalid. Only 2 follows. Choice B. Only 2 follows. Let's see the next 132. What is given? Some hyenas are lions. Let's draw the diagram for that. Basic diagram. Some hyenas are lions. Now, what is the second statement? All lions are cats. So, lions should be inside the cats. Next, some cats are owls. So, some part of the cats should be inside the owls. Now, what are the conclusions given? Some cats are lions. Is some cats are lions? No. Both are disjoint sets. No, no. This one is cats, right? Yes. When all lions are cats, definitely we will be able to say some lions are cats and some cats are lions. One follows as of now. Now, some owls are lions. This one is the owls diagram and this one is the lions diagram. Do we have any relation? No. So 2 is not a valid conclusion. Some cats are hyenas. Is it some cats are hyenas? Yes. Some part of the cats are hyenas. So 3 is the valid conclusion. 1 and 3 follows. Choice C. Now let's move to the question number 133. All squirrels are herbivores. So all squirrels should be inside the herbivores. Okay. Now what is the second diagram is given? Some herbivores are elephants. Right. Some herbivores are elephants. What is the next statement is given? All elephants are mammals. Elephants diagram should be inside the mammals. All elephants are mammals. Next, some mammals are carnivores. Some mammals are carnivores. Now let's answer the questions. Some mammals are herbivores. No, definitely this part is herbivores and this part is mammals. So this part of the mammals we can say it as herbivores. So one follows. Now second one, all elephants are squirrels. Is all elephants are inside the squirrels? No. So two is not a valid conclusion. Now, what is the third one is given? Some carnivores are herbivores. Is some part of the carnivores are herbivores? This diagram is for herbivores and this diagram is for carnivores. There is no relation as per the basic diagram, so it need not to be. So 3 is not a valid conclusion. So only one follows, choice A. And our last question in analytical reasoning, 134. All engineers are mathematicians. Let's draw the basic diagram for this. All engineers are mathematicians. All engineers are mathematicians. Next, some mathematicians are, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let's draw another diagram. Okay, what is given here? All engineers are mathematicians means engineers diagram should be inside the mathematicians. What is the second one is given? Some mathematicians are authors. Some mathematicians are authors. And third one, no author is a scientist. No author is a scientist. And we have the fourth statement, some engineers are scientists. So instead of writing the scientist here, you may draw here. Some scientists are engineers. But what is the earlier statement? No author is a scientist. So author to scientist, there should not be any relation. Now let's look at the conclusions. What is the first conclusion is given? No author is an engineer. No author is an engineer. Engineer to author, there is no relation. So it is true in the basic diagram, but it is a negative conclusion. Once the negative conclusion is true in the basic diagram, we have to draw the alternate diagram. What is the opposite pair of these? No author is engineer. Some authors are engineers. Yes, I may draw the diagram like this. It won't violate any of your given statements. If you want, you can verify it. All engineers are mathematicians. Still, all engineers are mathematicians. Some mathematicians are authors. Yes, still, some mathematicians are authors. No author is a scientist. Yes, still. And some engineers are scientists. Yes, still, some engineers are scientists. And simultaneously, we are able to prove some authors are engineers. It means earlier it was true, but after drawing the alternate diagram, it become false. So one is not a valid conclusion. Now what the second one is given? Some scientist or engineer. Now without drawing the diagram also we can say it is given some engineers are scientists. So obviously some scientists will be engineers. So 2 is a valid one. Now let's see the third one. Some mathematicians are not scientists. So some part of these mathematicians are not scientists, they are saying. Right, this part of the mathematicians are not scientists. This part of the mathematicians are not scientists. It is true, but it is a negative conclusion. Once the negative conclusion is true, we have to draw the alternate diagram. What is the opposite pair of this? All mathematicians. For some not statement, what is the opposite pair is? All. All mathematicians are scientists. If you try to draw all mathematicians inside the scientist, if you try to place all mathematicians inside the scientist, definitely the mathematicians who are authors definitely will get the relation with scientist. But as per the given statement, author should not be the scientist. It means we cannot draw the diagram. So earlier, which was true in the basic diagram, it still remains true. So third one follows. So both T2 and 3 follows. Its choice C. So overall, the paper level of difficulty is easy comparing to the last year. Okay, thank you. And from now onwards, my colleague will take care of legal part.
Okay. Hello, aspirants. You have given CLAT paper, you have given AILET paper. Now we are done with it. But I hope your paper was good. But firstly, I just wanted to know, are you also like of confused how did CLAT release the results so early? Because the moment results came out last night, the moment score sheet of the students came out last night, I was just like, CLAT ने एकदम से वक्त बदल दिया, जज्बात बदल दिए, जिंदगी बदल दी, एकदम से सब surprise हो गए कि next morning we have IELTS paper. Okay, so we'll start with legal reasoning section. All right. Now, first thing you must be thinking that why does it fall under legal reasoning section? Because it is under the logical reasoning section of the paper. Why do we call it legal? Firstly, these are principal facts based questions. Now, what do we do in principal facts based questions? We have to stick to the principles. We do not have to go beyond that. That's what makes these questions different. Apart from that, what are the differences? I'll discuss that when we'll discuss the questions with each and every question. Okay, so the very first question is about the opportunity cost. Okay, opportunity cost of a decision. Principle keh raha hai, opportunity cost of a decision is the value of the next best alternative, that is foregone. Okay, facts, let's see the facts. Sham is an aspiring artist and has a chance to exhibit his paintings for local gallery. What other options he has? He has other options that he can either take this opportunity and get a profit of rupees 50,000. And what is the other offer he has? He can take up a temporary job and that would help him earn 30,000 in total. So what did Sham do eventually? Sham decided that he'll exhibit his paintings at the gallery. Now what do we have to see? We have to see that which of the following statements is true regarding Sham's decision. Okay. Principal is talking about the value of the next best alternative. Now, what confusion did most of the students face while attempting this question was between option number C and option number D. Now, I'll tell you why option number D is the correct answer. What is our principal saying? Our principal is talking that about the next best alternative that is there. Principal is asking for the value of the next best alternative. Now, Sham opted 50,000. Sham opted that he want to gain rupees 50,000. What is the next best alternative? Next best alternative was of rupees 30,000. So that is why option number D is correct. That Sham's opportunity cost for choosing to exhibit his paintings is INR 30,000. That was the amount he could have earned. Okay, so that is the correct answer, option number D. All right. Going to the next principle. Question number 136. Principle is saying that discussing about the confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs. That is our principle saying. Now, what does the fact say? Let's see. Facts talk about Mala, who's an avid believer in the benefits of a plant-based diet. Now, as per the confirmation bias, she would always want to look for papers and researches and studies that will confirm her bias about the plant-based diet. Now, when she comes across a scientific study that says that balanced omnivorous diet can also provide a health benefits, but that does not really align with her belief. Okay. Now, which of the following statements is true regarding Mala's behavior? Which of the following statement is true about Mala's behavior? Option A is saying Mala is exhibiting confirmation bias by ignoring evidence that contradicts her views. Now, if we stick to the principle, if we look at the principle, what principle is saying? Principle is saying only about the confirmation bias. Principle is only telling us what confirmation bias is. And when we see Mala's behavior, do we find confirmation bias in it? Yes, we do find confirmation bias in it. And that is why option number A is the correct answer. Okay, that is why option number A is the correct answer. All right. Next question. Next question we have is question number 137. What is the principle about? The principle is about the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is another cognitive bias. Okay, the Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias. Which kind of cognitive bias? Where individuals with low ability, at a task overestimate their ability. Okay, while those with high ability underestimate their competence. Basically, what does it mean? It means that if you are good at something, you are not being able to believe that you are good at it, and if you are not good at it, you will show signs of being overconfident with it. Okay, now let's go with the facts. Facts is talking about tutu. Facts is talking about tutu. Okay, so tutu, what does tutu do? Tutu is a new employee at a tech company and recently completed a coding course. Okay, coding course is completed by tutu, but she's feeling confident. Now she's new, she's also feeling confident, so she dismisses her suggestions, dismisses others suggestions as unnecessary. She's new, she has learned it newly. That is why she thinks that the suggestions of the others are unnecessary. That is one thing that we have to consider. Second thing, there's another person, Saba. What does Saba do? Saba is a senior developer. Okay, but she often second guesses her suggestions. Now, in both of these behaviors, we can see the Dunning-Kruger effect. Dunning-Kruger effect is there because what does Dunning-Kruger effect say? Dunning-Kruger effect say that if you are good at something, you will underestimate yourself. If you are not good at it, okay, you will think that you know it well, more than others, better than others. Okay. So now, what does the question ask? Question asks that which of the following statements is true regarding Tutu and Saba's behavior? Now, both of them are showing this cognitive bias of Kruger-Dunning effect. Okay, so that is why option number C is correct, because both Tutu and Saba are demonstrating Dunning-Kruger effect. Okay, that is why option number C is correct. Let's go to next question. Next question is question number 138. What does the principle say? Principle is saying that any person who publishes false statement that result in significant financial losses to a business shall be guilty of an offense. Now, one more thing that I would like to add on is that in these 8 questions that we are discussing here, some of them have some legal principles involved and some do not have these legal principles involved. Okay, so no matter the principles are there or not, the fact is legal or not, the principle is legal or not, we have to stick to the principle. Now, this particular question has a legal point in it. Okay, it's talking about publishing false statement. All right. So now what does the fact say? Fact is about Jatin. Now, Jatin has published a news article. He claims that some popular restaurant is serving unsafe food. Now, Jatin believes it to be true. Jatin said it because he believes it to be true. The restaurant suffers losses because of that, but later it is revealed that the statement in Jatin's article was false. Now, 2 things are there. Jatin's belief, which was true. Jatin sincerely believes that this is true. Okay, that is one thing. And another is that later revealed that statement in Jatin's article were false. These are 2 things. Now, does the principle say anything about him believing the fact true? Does the principle mention anything like that? No, principle doesn't mention anything like that. That is why the correct option is option number A. Why Jatin has committed an offense? Because he published false statement that caused financial loss, and his intention and knowledge are immaterial. Intention and knowledge ke bare mein the principle does not state anything. Okay, so we do not go with the option that say that his intention was not like that, he did not have any knowledge or anything of that sort. Okay, these are just extra information in the facts that does not serve any relevancy to us. Okay, that's why option number A is the correct option. Let's go to the next question. Next question is question number 139. 139 says the principle is the impact of leadership style on historical events can shape the course of nations and influence the outcomes of conflicts. Now, there's no legal principle involved. Still, since it's a principle fact-based question, we have to stick to the principle. All right. Now, fact is about the 2 people that during the late 20th century, 2 prominent leaders emerged during a territorial dispute. One wanted and one advocated for peaceful negotiations and diplomacy, which is X, and the other person, who's a Y, he wanted aggressive military action. So these are two kind of people. Okay, these are two different leadership styles. All right. Now, what does the question asked? Question has asked that in, okay, let's read the fact fully. In contrast, X's proposed solution was, although initially rejected, it was eventually gained support and led to de-escalation. Meaning, the wise approach, which was very aggressive in nature, it led to a major conflict. On the other hand, X's approach, which was to be on a little calmer side with the peaceful negotiations, it eventually gained support. Now, based on the above, which of the following statement is most accurate? We have to find the most accurate statement from these. All right. Now, option number A kya keh raha hai? Option number is saying wise aggressive strategy ultimately resulted in favorable outcome, which is wrong option. Okay. Option number B is also wrong. Why is it wrong? Because again, diplomatic approach was good. C is not relevant for us. That is why option number D is the correct answer. Option number D kya keh raha hai? It's saying that the eventual support for Axis solution highlights the importance of diplomacy. Now, from these facts and these principles, which conclusion we can arrive to? We can arrive to the conclusion that the support for Axis solution highlights the importance of diplomacy. Since the principle is about the impact of leadership style, which means that if the leadership style is diplomatic, then it will gain some support and it will be better for conflict resolution. That's why option number D is correct. Okay, moving on. Moving on to question number 140. Okay, what does question number 140 say? Question number 140 is saying about the principle of property. Okay, now again, this is a legal principle. All right, this is a legal principle. It's saying that a property owner is responsible for maintaining the safety of their premises and is liable for any injuries that occur to hazardous conditions in the premises, unless the injured party was trespassing. Okay, so principle means that if a property owner has something hazardous in their property, they themselves will be liable for its impact unless the other party was trespassing. Okay, now let's see the fact. Fact is about Tara. Tara, what does Tara do? Tara owns a retail store, and a heavy rainstorm caused a leak in the ceiling of the store, which led to the filling of water inside the store. Now, what is important for us is that Tara was aware of the leak. Okay, one thing is that Tara was aware of the leak. Okay, but did not have time to fix it before customers arrived the next morning. But what she did, she placed a sign warning customers. She did not clean it up. She did not get it cleaned up. She placed a sign warning customers of the wet floor. However, what happened that when Aman entered the store to browse, he slipped on the wet floor and injured his leg. Okay. Aman did not see the warning sign. Now, is the principal stating anything about owner putting up a warning sign or not doing what the owner was supposed to do? Is it there in the principle? It's not there in the principle. So that is why our correct answer is option number A, that Tara is liable for Aman's injury. Why? Because wet floor was a hazardous condition. Now Aman did not trespass. Okay, Aman did not trespass and Tara was liable to get the property clean. These are the two reasons why option A is the correct answer. All right. Moving on. Question number 141. Okay. Now, principal is saying that a party to a contract is responsible for fulfilling their obligations under the agreement and is liable for damages if they fail to do so. It's a simple principle. Facts, let's see the facts. Richa enters into a contract with a catering company to provide catering services for her wedding reception. Now, what happened? This catering company was supposed to give services for 125 guests, but on the other hand, they delivered only for 75 guests. Why? Because due to a road closure on account of VIP movement. Now, there's this uncertain situation that has come up. Richa is now forced to make last minute alternative arrangement to feed the additional guests, incurring extra cost. Okay, we have to select the most appropriate option. Okay, we have to select the most appropriate option. Now, does the principal say anything about this natural thing happening, this unforeseeable event happening? It does not say anything about that. It does not state anything about the unforeseeable situation. So we will not take this into account. It is not relevant for us. Okay. So that is why the correct answer is that option number C. Richa is entitled to recover damages since Big Bites failed to deliver the agreed upon amount of time. Okay. That is why answer number is C. Correct answer is option number C. Okay, last question for this section, question number 142. Let's see the principle. What is the principle saying? Principle is saying that a party who receives a benefit at the expense of another party is required to make restitution to prevent unjust enrichment. Okay, it's simple. Unjust enrichment is kind of concept, a legal concept that you will study later in the colleges. Okay, don't worry about it. But in general sense, we understood that if you are gaining anything at the expense of another party, you are required to make restitution. All right. Now, what does the fact say? Let's see. Anita hires a construction company to renovate her swimming pool. Okay, all right. The contract states that best builder will install new water purifiers for a total cost of 10,000. Now, these builders were hired to give Anita products worth rupees 10,000. Okay, they were supposed to serve them for the amount of rupees 10,000 only. What did they do? They installed high-end purifiers worth rupees 15,000. Now, they served Anita for 5,000 rupees more. Okay, the contract was for 10,000 and they served for 15,000. Okay, so the difference is unjust enrichment that Anita took up. Okay, now during the renovation this happened. Now Anita enjoys the upgraded purifiers but only pays the agreed upon amount of rupees 10,000. We have to select the most appropriate option. All right, what is the correct answer? The correct answer would be option A. Best Builders is entitled to receive the full value of the purifier since Anita is using the purifier. Why? The logic is that there is unjust enrichment. Okay, that is the reason for this answer. All right. So these were 8 legal questions which were not exactly legal in nature, but somehow we consider them because of the nature that they are principle and fact based questions, and some principles had legal principles involved in them. Okay, so that is all from my side. Now we'll call Lakshmi ma'am for rest of the critical reasoning section.
Hello, dear students. So here we are with the critical reasoning section, one of the critical sections in this exam. So let's discuss these questions. Okay, thank you, Damni ma'am, for the legal discussion. Now we are going to critical reasoning. Okay. Just give me a second for the questions to roll. They're quite heavyweight, so it's taking a little time. We are good to go. Hold on. Thank you. Okay, shall we start? Yeah. Overall, these questions some of them were tricky, but that is the critical reasoning section. That is why it is called critical reasoning also, right? But yes, most of the questions were of a moderate difficulty level. That is our verdict. I guess you also felt the same. Yeah, let's quickly go to each question. So here we have an enterprise. Okay, this is about safety of its products versus profitability, right? The question is, which of the following statements is most consistent with the paragraph above? Okay, now here you may have got confused with a couple of options, that is C and D. But the problem with C is that it is a little extreme. Okay, C is a little extreme because it says they should always prioritize even if it affects their financial performance. The only thing the passage says is some enterprises prioritize profit over safety, and that may pose serious risks. But we can't say that they should always prioritize safety over profit, even if financial performance as a whole has not been mentioned here. Okay, so we can go for D, because here it clearly says, while no product can be entirely risk-free, if an enterprise knows that a product has significant defects, then it should disclose it, provide clear warnings. Okay, because of that, we can go for D. The other two options are extreme, and in all these questions, I will not go for the very easy to eliminate options, okay, because otherwise it'll take a long time. A and B are very easy to eliminate, extreme options, right? Now we have the next question. A wildfire has broken out. So what is the situation here? We need to, this is called parallel reasoning. Okay, we need to find which of the following most mirrors the principle in the passage above. So what is the principle here? That the fire has broken out, and in order to maximize their efforts, they decide to only save the or prioritize the areas that are home to endangered species. So it is about limited resources, limited resources and prioritization or judicious allocation. So what do we have here? We have the answer is only 1 and 2. Okay, university offers limited number of scholarships. Okay, and so it prioritizes people from underprivileged backgrounds, those who are most in need of help, just like in this situation. And 2 is a charitable foundation gets donations. Now this is for disaster relief, and it focuses on the hardest hit communities. That is also limited resources and prioritization. What about this? Here the question is different, the issue is different. Okay, large grocery store, it has food supply shortage. Yes, shortage of resources, okay, but what does it do? It decides to limit the sale of high demand items. It is doing a little bit of rationing there. It is not focusing on the high demand items only. That would be prioritization. Here it is a different principle of rationing. Hence we go for only 1 and 2. Okay, next question. Okay, here where public safety or the protection of human life is at stake. Okay, public safety or protection of human life is at stake. What happens? We have to, they are saying it is justified to limit personal freedom and privacy. Now this question, you may have found it a little tricky. Let us eliminate the easy to eliminate options. What are we supposed to do? We have to pick the justifiable action based on this principle. What is the principle again? Public safety or protection of human life is at stake. You are justified in limiting personal freedoms and privacy in order to ensure broader well-being. Okay, easy to eliminate. Here, right, ordered the installation of surveillance camera because it would protect company assets. None of these things are in line with the argument. It is only to protect company assets here, not in the well-being of interests of broader public. Life and human life is not at stake. Public safety not at stake. Sanju, police officer, initiated random searches without a warrant, arguing that it was necessary to prevent potential burglaries. Now, to prevent potential burglaries, life is not at stake here, safety not at stake here. These two options can be easily eliminated. Now, what do we have? We have A and D. Now comes a little bit of a problem. This person, a public health official, enforced a temporary closure of all schools during a severe flu outbreak to prevent the spread of the virus among students, despite protests from parents. So, human life, public safety, all these are correct. What is the problem? Problem is personal freedoms and privacy. Whether closing schools is an infringement of personal freedoms and privacy is the problem. Okay, we can't really say why did the parents protest. We do not know. So there's a little bit of a question mark here. However, The other option is Sarita, local politician, proposed limiting internet access in her town to prevent residents from accessing certain websites. So, limiting internet access is definitely limiting personal freedom and privacy. Fine. Claiming it would improve public morality and safety. Now, safety is there. Only life, threat to life is not there. However, claiming it would is a little bit of a problem. Whereas here life is at stake. Flu outbreak is something that is very definite. Okay, here it is only a claim. Between these two, we have gone for this option because that is a more serious issue, and here it is only a claim. We can say it is a bit of a tricky or contentious question. We'll have to wait and see what AILET takes as the answer. Okay. Next question, rapid advancement of technology. Okay. What is the question there? Which conclusion necessarily follows? Okay. Technology has completely extreme option. People prefer online interactions, extreme option. While technology can enhance connections, it may also hinder personal relationships, is what the passage is talking about. Okay, it is talking about the pros and cons of technology. Okay, next. This company argues that its new biofuel product is entirely, so what is the argument? Argument is new biofuel product is entirely eco-friendly because it is made from renewable resources. Since the product is derived from organic matter, it is zero negative impact. Which of the following, if true, would most weaken their argument? Okay, so here the process of producing the biofuel emits significant greenhouse gases. Now, while it may be made from renewable resources, if the manufacturing process involves significant greenhouse gases emission, that is a problem. It doesn't become eco-friendly. I'm crossing it out because it is a problem. Actually, it should be this is valid. Okay, that's what I mean when I crossed it out. Although the biofuel is renewable, its widespread cultivation leads to deforestation. That is also a problem. It weakens green fuels argument that it is eco-friendly, right? So that is also a problem. Production of biofuel is significantly more costly. Now, cost is not a part of green fuels argument at all. We don't need to consider that. So both A and B are valid. Okay. Next question. Okay. Coding question here. Advocates for early coding education argue that teaching programming skills to children from a young age will enhance their problem solving abilities and prepare them for a technology driven future. Therefore, coding should be introduced as a mandatory subject. This is the argument. Okay. Which of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument above? Okay. Here, coding languages evolve slowly, and therefore, what is taught today is likely to remain relevant in the future as well. It is correct because, why is it correct? Because it will prepare them for a technology driven future. Okay, this strengthens the argument that technology is not going to change in the future. So, yes, they will remain prepared. Okay, now this is weakening. Children are fast learners. That means they don't need to be taught in elementary school. Now, early exposure to problem solving techniques enhances cognitive development. Well, this is sort of already mentioned there. Enhance their problem solving abilities is what has been mentioned there already. Now, early exposure to problem solving techniques enhances cognitive. Problem solving and cognitive is more or less on the same lines. Okay, D can come close. However, A directly strengthens the argument, and the argument is about preparing them for a technology driven future. Now this is about the benefit of the argument. The argument itself is that it will enhance their problem solving abilities. This is further strengthening that I mean, it is strengthening the consequence of that argument. Hence we can go for A. Okay, next question. Okay, excessive consumption of processed food. Okay, here here what we are saying is that research indicates that excessive consumption of processed foods is linked to increase in obesity. Then this study tracked two groups, okay, one that regularly consumed processed foods and another that followed a whole food based diet. Study found that the processed food group had a 25% higher rate of obesity, and hence the study concluded that processed food consumption directly causes obesity. Okay, which of the following, if true, more strengthens the argument above? Now this also could be a tricky question because, okay, now some options are very easy to eliminate. Some participants occasionally consume small amounts of processed foods that in fact dilutes the study, so that can be eliminated easily. And other studies have shown that regular exercise reduces regardless of diet. Now it is talking of another factor that also can be eliminated easily. Now, both groups were matched for physical activity levels, age, and overall caloric intake during the study period. Now, this shows that everything was normalized for the study. That strengthens the validity of the research methodology. However, when we say that they were matched for overall caloric intake, we are not sure what that means, okay, because then probably the reason for processed foods being unhealthy is the caloric intake. So there is a little bit of an issue. Anyway, that validates the methodology but not the conclusion. But the conclusion is that processed food consumption directly causes obesity. So processed foods are often high in sugars and unhealthy fats, which contribute to weight gain. This directly strengthens the argument. Okay. Next. Okay, this is a question in which a person has been working as a software engineer for 10 years. He found that a new hire who has less experience and fewer qualifications is being paid more than him. Okay, and his manager said it's because of his talent in a particular programming language. This is an easy question. Prakash believes he's being treated unfairly. Which option can strengthen Prakash's claim of unfair treatment? The only option that can strengthen is Prakash has consistently taken on high responsibility projects, because this repeats the argument in the passage, and they studied the same basic and advanced degrees. That does not validate or invalidate the fact that Prakash knows the new guy knows something extra. Okay, and same institution, we don't know what degrees they studied also, whether it's the same degree. So the answer is B. Okay, next. Okay, this is also pretty easy. Sarab and her brother. Okay, now these two siblings have been sharing the household chores, and Sarab noticed that Satish gets lighter tasks, okay, and she gets the more difficult tasks. When she brought this up with her parents, they told her that Satish is assigned tasks based on his school workload and extracurricular activities. This was the parents' argument, which are more demanding than Sarab's. But Sarab says that she is being treated unfairly and this division is biased. Okay, which of the following strengthens her claim of unfair treatment? Okay, very clearly, Sarab is involved in several extracurricular activities and has an equally demanding schedule. If this is the reason, if it is true, then it invalidates the excuse or justification given by her parents. All the other options can be easily eliminated. Hence, A is the answer. Okay. Now, here. Okay. A ban on cell phones in schools is necessary as it distracts students, okay, from their academics. It is unnecessary as in an emergency. The school landlines can be used. Cell phones are unnecessary. And a break from social media would remove the stress and help students build their concentration and enhance their learning. What is the assumption being made about cell phones? Now, what is an assumption? An assumption is an unsaid premise. It is data which is not directly given in the passage, but it is there in the arguer's mind. Okay, the person who is giving the argument uses it as a premise to base their argument on. Now, here there is a little bit of a confusion because cell phones are harmful to students and their ability to focus and remain stress free. Now, that has been sort of directly given in the passage. We do not know, sometimes these test setters can be a bit tricky. Okay, so here it is written that ban on cell phones is necessary because cell phone distracts students, and also social media would remove the stress, and a break from social media would remove the stress and help students build their concentration. Only thing is they haven't said phones would remove the, removing the phones would remove the stress. But here we can say that removing social media is equivalent to removing the phones because that is the action discussed in the passage. To that extent, the problem with this is it is sort of given in the passage. Otherwise, it is okay. Now, that cell phones can be replaced by landlines in an emergency is a direct assumption made here because it is unnecessary as in an emergency, the school landlines can be used. That means that in an emergency, landlines can replace cell phones. It is not directly written, but it is an assumption made there. So, B would be more unsaid. But A is also valid if you can ignore the fact that it's mentioned in the passage. Okay. So, we have to wait and see what AILET is going to say about this one. Now, this one should be easy, this question. Okay, so this is about students with high grades and low economic standing refraining from. If you understand this argument, then the question is very easy. Okay, so students with high grades and low economic standing, those who are not very well off, refrain from, they do not apply to more prestigious schools, though they give better financial support. What is the reason? They apply to the same schools their friends and economic peers do. Then it says it is either a consequence of their being underinformed about their options or believing that the culture and atmosphere of prestigious colleges wouldn't be inviting to them, a fallout of the schools and their PR. What can be properly inferred? What can be inferred is that low income students refrain from applying to prestigious schools because they are underinformed, okay? Underinformed, or they are intimidated by the culture of prestigious schools. They don't find it very inviting. Okay, all the other options are distortions. Okay, because they are more influenced. See, they apply to the same schools as their peers, but that is not given as the reason. That is just in the background. The reasons are clearly stated here. Okay. The other options can be easily eliminated. Hence, A is the answer. Next. Okay. Fine. Effective teamwork is crucial for project success in any organization. Okay. What does this say? Research indicates that diverse teams, which include members with different backgrounds and skill sets, produce more. Okay. So, teamwork, diversity are all very important, but in teams, there is a problem of conflict. Conflict needs to be managed properly. Okay. And training programs that teach conflict resolution techniques are very important to enhance team performance. Which of the following can be inferred very directly? It can be inferred that training programs can improve team dynamics, right? It can be inferred from the passage. The others should avoid forming contradictory to the passage. Contradictory, always detrimental, extreme option. Okay, we can eliminate all those very easily. Now, okay, I am moving on to question number 94. This is a syllogism question here that we have in between. Okay, I'm moving to this question number 94, where we have, yeah, study of ancient civilizations reveals much about human history and cultural development. Archaeological findings indicate that societies engaged in trade and cultural exchange often experienced advancements in art, architecture, and technology, and those who were isolated faced stagnation. This is the argument. Very, very easy. What can be inferred from the passage? Trade and cultural exchange can be key drivers of societal progress. Cultural progress is societal progress, basically. Okay, this is contrary to the passage. All ancient civilizations experience same level of no. The passage compares different levels, and art and architecture have no relationship is also contrary to the passage. Very easy question. So that is what, there are a few easy questions also here, right? Okay. Exploration of space has captivated humanity for decades. Okay. Sparking advancements in various scientific fields. Then space missions have led to developments in technology. Cost of space exploration can be high, but potential benefits are profound. The benefits are these. These are profound benefits. Okay, again, a very easy question. What can be inferred from the passage? Here, potential benefits include inspiring future generations and promoting global cooperation. Okay, so it has been mentioned directly in the passage. Sometimes an inference in these exams, they do give, to make it very easy, the inference is properly stated in the passage. Okay, there's no other option that can be accepted. Now, this is about art as a means of expression. Artists have utilized various mediums, etc. Many art movements have emerged. Exposure to diverse forms of, okay, so this is about the benefits of art, and here we have mentioned that exposure to diverse art forms can enhance creativity and foster empathy. Again, a very, very direct and easy question. I don't even need to explain the other options, because exposure to diverse art forms can enhance creativity and promote empathy. Okay, now here, just give me a minute. Going a little fast. Okay, all buildings are, this is a syllogism question again. Let me skip this one and move on. Okay. Here. Nutrition and health research has highlighted the importance of dietary habits in physical well-being. Okay, you have done the question. I'm not reading it completely. Food choices are shaped by various socio-economic factors, etc., etc. Now, if the paragraph is true, which of the following statements is most contradicted by the para? Okay, so this highlights the importance of dietary habits. That is it, the entire passage. So, what can contradict it? Genetic predispositions play a significant role in determining dietary preferences. Okay, because it is the opposite of dietary factors. The other cultural influences are already there. All the other options have been given in the passage. No, C is contrary to the passage actually, or it is beyond the scope of the passage, and D, regular consumption, this is also beyond the scope of the passage. A is given in the passage, hence B contradicts. Okay, beyond the scope doesn't contradict. That is the point. Next, field of psychology. This is about emotional intelligence. Okay, and it says cognitive intelligence remains important, but EI may be a better predictor of success in the workplace. The question is, which of the following statements is the most inconsistent with the information in the passage? Here, the influence of cognitive intelligence is diminishing. It says cognitive intelligence remains the same. Okay, so all the others, the question is inconsistent with the passage. D is consistent, C is consistent, and B is consistent. Okay, next question. Yeah, importance of, okay, sorry, just go down quickly. Study habits impact their academic performance. Okay, this question, based on the paragraph, which of the following statements would most reasonably complete the sentence below? Now, here what they are saying is some students struggle to find the right balance between studying and leisure activities, which can lead to stress and decreased productivity. Okay, now the sentence, the variation in students' performance suggests that this should be a sort of summary of what they have said so far. Okay, so here a lack of balance between studying and leisure can create unnecessary stress for students. Of course, it is mentioned there already, but it is summing it up. Okay, it completes the para because we are saying that this variation suggests. Okay, we are introducing a new thing. The variation in student performance has not been mentioned. Now, this could be a confusing option, but we can't say some students prioritize leisure over studying. They are only saying there should be a balance between studying and leisure. Okay, so the author doesn't say prioritizing leisure is bad or prioritizing studies is bad. So we can't say the problem is they are prioritizing leisure. Okay. Now here, this is about the commercialization of sports, where ethics, there are some unethical practices which have cropped up. Now the question is, which conclusions follow? Okay, which conclusions follow? The commercialization of sports has led to unethical practices. Yes, it doesn't say always leads to, it only says has led to, and here it says sometimes leading to, so we can take this as correct. Stricter regulations are always beneficial for extreme. There is a need for balance between commercial interests and ethical practices. Yes, hence 1 and 3. Okay. Okay. Culinary arts have evolved over the years, and chefs want to aim for sustainability and locally sourced ingredients. So this shift has allowed for a resurgence of interest in traditional cooking. Now, some purists say that these trends threaten the authenticity of classic recipes. Others believe that the focus on sustainability is good. Okay, so what can be definitely concluded is the question necessarily follows. Okay, emphasis on sustainability has both benefits and challenges. Yes, some people are criticizing it. So yes, traditional recipes will become obsolete. Extreme culinary arts are enriched by the combination. That is an opinion that has not been mentioned in the passage. So only one follows. Okay. Next, rise of independent bookstores. What is happening? It is leading to community engagement, etc. And yeah, so these bookstores host events, etc., etc. But then the critics argue that the increasing popularity of online, so here bookstores contribute to community involvement, engagement, but popularity of online retailers poses a threat to the survival of these independent stores. Okay, but at the same time, others believe that the unique experiences offered by these bookstores can sustain their relevance in a digital age. Okay, I'm just reading out the parts that are important for you to understand. I see some comments that I need to go faster, but in some questions I need to emphasize the important points. Okay, here let us see, independent bookstores play a crucial role in fostering community. That is already mentioned in the passage. Unique experiences provided by independent bookstores can help them. It doesn't say will help them. This is an argument of one group of the people, right? So we can say it can help them. Online retailers will inevitably is extreme. Okay, so both 1 and 2 are correct. Fine. Next question. Rise of global tourism has impacted local economies, but at the same time, it leads to challenges such as environmental degradation and cultural dilution. Many experts advocate for sustainable tourism practices, balance of economic benefits, and preservation of local culture and environment. That is all. Okay. Now, the question is which of the conclusions definitely follow? Okay. All communities benefit equally from the economic opportunities. Extreme option. Sustainable tourism practices are essential to minimize the negative impacts. Yes. Rise of tourism has no significant negative effects. Contrary to the passage, only 2 follows. Okay. Urban gardening has become very popular and it helps city dwellers grow their own food and improve mental well-being. It was fueled by concerns about food deserts, that is vacuums in some gaps in food growing, etc., etc. Then critics say that it does not address systemic issues, problems with accessibility, etc., and that can sometimes lead to gentrification. Gentrification means the original community members are displaced, like farmers, etc. Okay. Despite these criticisms, many individuals find personal fulfillment and community among urban gardeners. Okay. Now, what are the conclusions that can be made from this? Urban gardening can heighten food insecurity. Definitely not. That cannot be inferred from this. Many individuals benefit emotionally and socially. Yes, urban gardening can unintentionally, again, when the words are not extreme, we can choose it. Okay, can unintentionally contribute. Yes, hence 2 and 3 follow. Okay, next question. Fundamental principle of artificial intelligence is that they should be designed with fairness and inclusivity in mind. Developers have to implement algorithms that do not result in any bias. Transparency in AI models is essential. Okay, transparency in decision making of AI is essential. Now, Which are the conclusions from this? Let us see. Okay. It is inappropriate to criticize AI developers for biased outcomes if they have made efforts to promote fairness and transparency. We cannot, there is nothing here about the fairness or unfairness of criticism beyond the scope. AI developers must prioritize eliminating biases. Yes, that is the argument. So only two follows. Okay. Discovery of electricity led to profound changes, positive changes, but rapid industrialization was also accompanied by environmental degradation. Okay. Some modern movements say that technological progress is inherently beneficial and they overlook the environmental costs associated with it. Okay. Now let us look at the many political movements today ignore the environmental impacts of technological advancements. We don't know if some equals many. Okay, some and many may not be the same. This is questionable. We have ruled it out. It is not possible to have industrial progress without environmental degradation. It's too categorical, too extreme. Discovery of electricity has had both positive and negative effects is the conclusion. Only three follows. Okay, antibiotics revolutionized healthcare. Overuse of antibiotics has contributed to rise of drug-resistant bacteria that has posed a threat, and so public health policies have had to balance the benefits of antibiotic use with the dangers of resistance. Modern pharmaceutical practices focus only on maximizing profits and they sideline the risk factor. Okay, what can be concluded? Profit-driven motives always undermine public health priorities. Profit driven motives always. Can we say that? No, not always, right? Overuse of antibiotics has resulted in significant health challenges. Yes, advances in healthcare can introduce unintended risks over time. Both of these can be inferred directly or concluded directly. Hence, that is the answer. Social media has transformed communication, but it has also led to misinformation, etc., etc. So, some governments have introduced stricter regulations, but then there are concerns about censorship and freedom of expression. Some activists argue that controlling misinformation through regulation is necessary, even at the expense of individual freedoms. Okay, misinformation has to be prevented, even at the, okay. Let us look at the conclusions here. The rise of social media services has both benefits and drawbacks. Yes, directly we can conclude that from this statement. Governments should prioritize freedom of expression over, no, that is some activists argue, but we cannot conclude this directly. The word is should, which is extreme. Efforts to regulate misinformation come with complex trade-offs. Okay, trade-offs means here, what is the trade-off? It yeah, the trade-off is freedom of expression. Freedom of expression is something that is lost in the process. So 1 and 3 follow. Okay. Now we have a series of questions that have already been discussed earlier. Let me move to the next critical reasoning question. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Now, here is an assertion. An assertion is a statement. The rise of OTT platforms is challenging the traditional movie theater business. Okay, these assertions and all, I have to read it completely. Please be patient. Okay. Now, what do we need to do? We need to see which of these arguments are strong in the wake of this statement. This is not strengthening, weakening. This is strong argument. A strong argument is a valid argument. It can be for or against the assertion. Please keep that in mind. OTT platforms and traditional movie theater present completely different experiences and therefore are unlikely to affect each other. Yes, that is a strong argument. So it says that it will not challenge the traditional movie theater, but the reason is valid, that the experiences are completely. We just need to see whether the argument or reasoning is valid. OTT platforms ensure instant availability of diverse content, which a traditional movie theater cannot emulate. So this is a strength or advantage of OTT, which strengthens the assertion. This is also valid. Okay, you got how to do this question. So both arguments are strong. Okay, if you're used to only strengthening, weakening questions, this may be a little confusing for you. Okay. Now, the question here is, next question, is football the most popular sport in the world? The first argument is yes, FIFA have over 5 times global viewership as compared to Formula 1 or the Wimbledon championships. Now here, popular means more people like it, more people watch it. The only problem is they have only compared football, FIFA, with 2 other sports. Okay, so we don't know whether these sports are popular or not. What if they have compared it with only the unpopular sports? We cannot make any assumptions saying we know Formula 1 is very popular, Wimbledon is popular. Hence, there is a problem with this. Okay, Lionel Messi is the most followed footballer. That is Messi's popularity, not football's popularity. The Cricket World Cup has been the most profitable sports event. Now, this argument could have been valid if profitability equaled popularity. We can't say that profitability and popularity are the same. Profitability can be a factor of many other variables. Okay. Hence, it is a little tricky here. Both the possible answers have a problem. We can say only one is strong, but then both the possible answers have a problem there. Okay, so I'm keeping it there as a contentious question. Now, inclusive education says that students with disabilities should be integrated into mainstream classrooms, but critics say that focusing too much on inclusion can strain resources and may lead to a decline in education quality for students with disabilities and without disabilities. So we have to strengthen the critics' position. This is a very easy option. Okay. Schools often lack the resources needed to effectively implement, because the argument is it may cause a strain on the resources and hence a decline in quality of education. Okay, hence this is the answer. Parents' preference out of scope, out of context. Without disabilities and with disabilities only show one slide. Sorry, one side. Here it is about students with and without disabilities. So B is the answer. Next. Yeah, concept of diversification means expanding a company's operations to reduce risk and enhance growth potential. Diversification can lead to increased revenue and a better business model, but critics say that diversification can dilute a company's core competencies and result in inefficiencies. Okay, it can dilute means it will not allow the company to focus on its strengths. Okay, and overall performance will be affected. What is an assumption here? Okay, so let us see. A says companies often face significant challenges when trying to manage multiple product lines effectively. Yes, that is an assumption because it says that it will dilute a company's core competencies. That means they are assuming there will be challenges when they manage multiple product lines. Diversification strategies usually require little investment and resources. It's against the argument. A strong focus on core competencies is essential for maintaining optimal output. Yes, because it will result in inefficiencies and overall performance is related to output finally. So both A and C. Okay. Next, smartphone users revealed that 70% of respondents believe data privacy is important. Only 30% use privacy settings. Major reason for this is that many users find privacy settings confusing and difficult to navigate. What is the assumption here? Okay. Here the assumption is users who care about data privacy often do not have the technical skills to manage privacy settings. That is the assumption here, right? Because 70% believe it is important, only 30% can use their settings. So this is the assumption here. This is contrary to the passage. Most smartphone manufacturers do not provide sufficient information. That we do not know. Why is it that privacy settings are confusing? We do not know. Even if the information is given, they may not be able to follow it. Okay, so that is a little far-fetched. And this is, it is too, it is out of scope, right? Most users believe that their data is safe without needing to adjust. That is against the passage. 70% feel that data privacy is important. Okay. Consumer advocacy group accused Alpha Electronics of producing faulty products, misleading advertising, etc. The report presented various customer testimonials to prove this. Which of the following assumptions strengthens the advocacy group's claims? Okay. Here, Alpha's competitors are irrelevant. Alpha changed its advertising strategy to highlight customer satisfaction. That has nothing to do with the unethical practices here. Alpha was fined by a regulatory body for not complying with consumer protection standards. Yes, that strengthens the advocacy group's argument that they are indulging in unfair practices. New CEO, irrelevant. Okay. Next, this is about hypothesis testing. Okay. Hypothesis, they have defined a hypothesis. Validity of a hypothesis is determined by its ability to withstand empirical statistical testing. Critics of this approach argue that relying solely on empirical data can lead to the neglect of theoretical frameworks that provide context for understanding phenomena. If you only go by empirical data, you may not be able to accept certain theoretical frameworks. Okay, so what is the assumption here? Let us see. Theoretical frameworks often provide critical insights that cannot be derived from empirical testing. Yes, if you depend on empirical testing, you will ignore these theoretical frameworks and they provide this context, etc., which are valuable insights. Okay. Empirical data alone can be sufficient. That is against the argument. Many scientific theories are based on assumptions that cannot be empirically. It's not about assumptions, it is about theoretical frameworks. Hence, B is the answer. And we come to the last question here. Okay. Remote work. This is about work from home policies. Okay. What does it say? Factors contributing to this include all these. However, the studies note that employees who work remotely may experience feelings of isolation. So, while there are many advantages, a key disadvantage is feelings of isolation and disconnection. Companies that have adopted remote work policies are now considering whether to continue, modify, or return to traditional in office work arrangements. This could be the major reason. Which of the following conclusions can be made from this? Let us see. Companies that implement remote work policies may need to address potential feelings of isolation. That is the conclusion here, right? That is why they are rethinking this work from home policy. Okay. Remote work policies are universally beneficial. We can't say that because there are concerns about isolation. Increase in productivity is solely due to, no, there are many reasons given there. So this is obviously extreme, and traditional in office work arrangements are more effective in promoting team communication and collaboration. Well, that we cannot say. We only know that here they have a problem with isolation, but collaboration and communication has not directly been mentioned in the passage. Okay, hence the answer is option C. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of this critical reasoning section. Now we are moving on to the English section. Okay, after a tiny break. Question to go right to the beginning. Thank you. How long do I have for this one? Okay, there we go. English section was overall okay. Some difficult passages, some very, very easy passages, very, very easy questions. If you identified them, it was all good, right? Now, those of you who attended our classes and boot camps, we have been telling you that AILET plays around with patterns, right? It does play around with patterns. Some of the question types that came today have appeared in AILET editions earlier, okay? So those who looked at the past papers, this should not have caught you by surprise. The first passage, I'm not reading the passage and boring you. I'm sure all of you want to get the answers and go to sleep. This is about coffee, the history of coffee, okay, and coffee shops in the process from ancient times to today. Yeah, let us straight away get to the questions. What did Kaldi observe that led to the discovery of coffee? We know that he saw some goats eating red berries and becoming energetic. Very direct question, guys. Nothing to explain here, right? Please go and look if you have any doubts, or take some coffee and look at the passage. How did the Industrial Revolution impact coffee consumption? It is directly mentioned that it led to more coffee production and introduced new brewing methods, instant coffee, etc. is mentioned. I am not explaining any options here. This is a very, very easy passage, okay? Now, consider the statement. Coffee originated in Ethiopia and quickly spread to the Arabian Peninsula and beyond, where it became popular. Which of the following best supports the statement? Okay, let us see. Originated in Ethiopia, quickly spread to Arabian Peninsula, where it became popular. So, what is the answer there here? Sorry. Let us see. Coffee houses transformed into vital centers of cultural exchange and economic activity within. No, it is about its spreading to different parts of the world, right? Monastic communities utilize coffee as a means to monastic communities where we don't know. The invigorating properties of coffee gained significant appreciation among intellectuals during the age of enlightenment. Which intellectuals? Okay, it is there in the passage. However, this does not mention Ethiopia. Okay, European intellectuals, okay, but this does not mention Ethiopia. The dissemination of coffee from Ethiopia catalyzed its cultivation across various regions, including Turkey and Europe. From Ethiopia to the rest of the world is the argument. Hence, this is the answer. Okay. Next, they have given two statements. We have to see which statement is true, which is false, are both correct, both false, etc. Introduction of coffee to the European market was met with immediate acceptance. No. The passage says that initially they associated it with Islam and there was resistance. False. Cultural significance of coffee houses in Europe during the Age of Enlightenment extended beyond mere consumption of beverage, etc., etc. True. Okay. Statement 1 is false and statement 2 is true. It's all written very clearly. What does the phrase emerging as social hubs mean? You don't even need to go back to the passage. Social interaction, centers for community interaction and cultural exchange. None of the others are even related here. Isolated areas is against social hub. It's like an oxymoron. Okay. Synonym for cultivation, in the beginning it mentions cultivation of coffee, not any other sense of cultivation. So growth is the answer. Next, frolicking. What is frolicking here? Goats frolicking. Frolicking is playfully moving around, okay, with a lot of energy. So the same sense is children were frolicking along the beach with palpable joy. Okay. Athletes were frolicking about their training regimen. They were doing the training regimen. That's not the same as goats or children jumping around with energy. Frolicking music is about the pace of the music, the peppy music. That is a different sense. Artist frolicked with her paintbrushes means she kept playing around with her paintbrushes. Here, what we need is energy and joy. Okay, hence B is the answer. Now, this, okay, spread of coffee cultivation in tropical regions was solely driven by domestic consumption in Ethiopia. No, it was driven by global demand, right? Okay, so that is false. Now, here I need to explain a little. Okay. The global demand for coffee prompted the establishment of plantations in various parts of the world, significantly influencing trade patterns. When you look at it, you may think it is correct. That's why I am going to the passage. What does the passage say? Establishment of colonial plantations fueled the global demand for coffee, not global demand fueled the establishment of plantations. Okay, there is a little inversion here, which if you are not careful, you might miss. So, both the statements are false. Okay, both statements are false. What factors contributed to the transformation of coffee from a regional specialty to a global commodity? This is quite easy. Colonial plantations and growing demand for coffee, right? Initial rejection obviously will not lead to it being a global commodity. Decrease in the prominence, decrease, you can straight away eliminate this. Popularity of instant coffee and a growing preference for tea. Very, very easy. Okay. In what ways has coffee maintained its cultural significance? A very direct question, right? Option D. It is direct from the passage, so I'm not going to any of the other options. Very easy. Yeah. Okay. Just make sure you do not take anything that is far-fetched or beyond the scope of the passage. For that particular passage, everything was very easy. Now, yeah, as I told you, this is a passage, this is a pattern which occurred in AILET a few years ago. Okay, so they have given you 3 book reviews of books which are somewhat similar in nature. The first book review is about how advocacy shapes public opinion. The second one is about the change in politics, right? Uh, yeah, and how especially technology and demography have changed our political landscape. And the third one is about the linkages between local and global politics. Okay, how local changes affect global politics. So let us quickly look at the questions. In the politics of change, which is the first passage, right? Which of the following factors does she most likely attribute to the success of movements? Success of these movements, it is mentioned clearly in the passage that key strategies such as coalition building, okay, that has been clearly mentioned in the passage. None of the others are directly mentioned in the passage. Okay. What major factors does Mark Stevens discuss in the change in politics regarding? That is again a very, very direct question. He discusses technology and demographic changes directly mentioned. Okay. In the third passage, politics and change, what does Dr. Anika Patel emphasize? Okay. Let us see here about the influence of local political changes. What the passage says is that uh, local changes can have far reaching global implications. Okay, so the broad implications for international relations. This is against the passage, very narrow, and again very too specific and beyond the scope of the passage. Which of the following strategies does Dr. Harper argue is essential for social movements to influence? Okay, the first passage, influence policy reform. Okay, again, a direct question. It is mentioned in the passage, utilizing digital platforms. Sole reliance is again extreme. Engaging in public apathy, indifference and uh, reform are opposites. Focusing exclusively on local issues, extreme. Very easy to get it, right? Okay. Dr. Anika Patel's the third passage explores the effect of globalization on local politics. Which of the following concepts is most likely a focus of her analysis? Okay, now here the effectiveness of local movements in a globalized world. She says that local movements can have global impact. Okay, this is out of scope. Role of international organizations in local governance is the opposite of this, right? That is why D is the answer. Colonialism is out of scope. Okay. Mark Stevens highlights demographic shifts. Okay, which demographic change might he argue has the most significant influence on electoral outcomes? Okay, now here he is talking about the diversity. Actually, this is not a direct question there. Okay, here what he says is that basically we need to know that it is about changes in the political landscape. I'm taking a little time for this, okay, because it's not an easy question. Here he uncovers how demographic shifts and technological advancements are reshaping political discourse in urban areas, and also the focus, it has said, is on elections, right? Okay. Analyzes the implications of these changes for traditional and political institutions. Somewhere he also says that the focus is on major elections. Please keep all this in mind. Okay. Fine. Now let us look at the options. Aging population's impact on social security policy. This is not about aging population. You may think demography, but then the passage doesn't talk about that. Increasing diversity of voters in urban areas. The focus is on elections. Urban communities has been mentioned. Decline trend of rural populations beyond the scope. Rural populations is not mentioned. Rise in youth voter participation in midterm elections. The passage specifies what major elections. Okay, so the answer is B. Now, Anika Patel emphasizes the interconnectedness of political systems. Which approach would she use to assess the impact of local changes? What would she do? She would look at the overall interconnectedness, right? So, a systemic analysis of international relations theory. Purely economic lens, no, she's looking at the cultural aspect, but regional identities is not important. It is regional, local, and global. Okay, emphasizing personal stories of political figures, no, out of scope. Hence, C is the answer. Now, again about Mark Stevens, the problem with this passage is you will have to go and check each passage for each specific question. You will have to go and check unless your memory is razor sharp. You will end up spending a little time, but questions are okay. Now, in Mark Stevens and the discussion of the role of digital platforms, which of the following outcomes would he most likely argue is a direct consequence of digital engagement? Here we have a uniform political discourse again. Now, this is an application question. It is not directly mentioned in the passage. However, a decrease in overall voter turnout due to information overload is very far-fetched, right? The technology is likely to have positive outcomes in this context. Enhanced polarization among voters due to targeted, again, it is very far-fetched. Polarization means division, okay? An increase in apathy. Apathy is indifference, not being interested. As digital engagement, now if there is engagement, how can there be apathy? So all these are out of scope, and the right answer is option C. Now, yeah, Anika Patel posits that local political movements are interconnected with global trends. So we have to look at the sentence that illustrates this relationship. Very easy. Local political movements are interconnected. In the passage, it says local developments influence global trends. So what could be the answer here? Local protests against environmental policies influence international climate agreements. Okay. National elections occurring independently of, no, we are looking at the interrelationship. Cultural differences leading to isolated, no, we are looking at global movements. Presence of international influence in local governance. It is not international influence in local governance. It is influence of local in international. Okay, hence A is the answer. Which of the following statements in Anika Patel's article would best summarize her perspective on the role of local leaders? Local leaders can influence international development, right? So their actions can create a ripple effect. Ripple effect, you know, right? It can bounce into international policy. Okay, the others are irrelevant. This is an easy question. Now we have another pattern which occurred in the same year that I'm talking about, okay, where we had these book reviews. We also had comparisons of 3 craft techniques. Now here we have comparisons of 3 knitting techniques. Again, a little intricate, dense, and time consuming. Yeah. Okay. Now, ensuring even stitches and prevent puckering. That is in the first technique. Okay, here. Fair Isle method. Here it says careful tension management to ensure even stitches and prevent puckering. Okay, that is the answer. So what is the option here? Tension management, right? I'm not going into the others. It is about tension management. Easy one. What is the correct order of stitching steps? You have to look at the short row techniques and look for the correct order. That is all. Just a little constant concentration there. First, you cast on the stitches, create short rows, sew the seams, and finish the edges. Common sense also will do actually. Okay, fine. Primary focus of the Fair Isle method. Okay, Fair Isle method. Here, the first method, what is the primary focus? Okay, here, 2 or more colors, and it says that it allows you to create stunning visual effects using all these colors, right? Multiple colors are there, that is all. That is the main focus. So, let us see here. Using multiple colors for intricate patterns, that has been mentioned there. Seamless garments out of scope. Speed and dexterity, not really, doesn't mention it as the primary focus. Shaping complex garments using colored yarns. Colored yarns can be one color also, no? It is multicolor, that is the emphasis. Okay, little detail there, hence B is the answer. What does the emphasis on wrapping the stitch before turning suggest about the short row technique? Okay, what does it show? That it says that this process is very, very important. So it shows that proper execution is crucial, because it says otherwise it can leave a hole there. Okay, you can go back and check. Yeah, this we cannot say, only relevant for advanced knitters, optional and can be skipped. This is totally out of scope, extreme and far-fetched. Okay, fine. Based on the description of continental style, which of the following can be inferred? Okay, let us see. It is slower, can we say that? Slower we can't say, it says that it is fast, right? Speed is an advantage. It is best suited for complex patterns has been mentioned, but there is a little problem here, only. Okay, normally we say it is a categorical statement or extreme. Now, let us see. It requires more yarn than traditional methods, not mentioned at all. It enables quicker advancement in design. The problem is with the phrasing. Okay, what does advancement in design really mean? It says that you can use, it does allow for greater speed and efficiency. It does help with complex patterns and multiple colors. Now that only makes that particular statement extreme, and quicker advancement in design. It gives you speed and helps you execute multiple designs. Does that really mean advancement in design? So we will leave it as a contentious question, a question you may have wanted to leave, okay, because of this extreme statement. Otherwise, this was okay. Fine. What might be inferred about the overall skill, okay, level required for mastering Fair Island continental knitting? What can we say about it? We can say that they require a strong foundation in basic knitting skills. Why? Because it talks about, in order to practice this, you need to first do this stitch, etc. Right? So people who do not know basic stitches cannot really start knitting, and they're talking of in order to practice for each of these methods. Okay, hence B is the answer. Fine. Anything close here? Yeah, prior experience, you can't say. They are accessible only to expert knitters with years of experience. We don't know. You need some practice and knowledge of basic stitches. Whether it is multiple years or not, we don't know. Hence B is the answer. Now, yeah, most appropriate meaning of pick the yarn. Okay, which option includes? There it says that with the left hand you have to pull the yarn tightly. Okay, I'm not scrolling up and down. you can go and check. With the left hand, you have to pull the yarn, and with the right needle, you have to pick the yarn. So from the context, picking is what? You know what picking means. So what would be the best option? Lift the yarn. It only says includes the appropriate meaning. This is the appropriate meaning. Grasping the yarn firmly will be while pulling, you grasp it, right? You don't do it with a needle. Now, catch the yarn smoothly. Catching the yarn doesn't make sense, no? It is about a stitch. And pulling the yarn is already done. Hence, B is likely to be the answer. Relationship between mastering advanced knitting techniques and uh, a knitter's design capabilities. Okay, here they have said that for all these you have to practice. So each of these techniques we can infer our advanced knitting techniques, and in each of these they have said once a knitter does this, they will be able to perfect intricate designs. So we can go for B. Okay, the others are irrelevant actually. Integration of both the fair isle method and short row techniques, both are very intricate methods, complicated methods. If we do both these methods together, what will happen? It will foster creativity through intricate designs, and it will need advanced skills to execute, right? Because these are advanced methods. The others are all contrary to the passage. Okay, restricts, etc. Okay, now we have a short and sweet, easy passage on renewable energy. What does it say? Yeah, renewable energy has become a very important concern. However, the transition to renewable energy involves various challenges. Okay, and they have said that solar and wind, they are sort of unreliable or intermittent in nature, not unreliable but intermittent, and existing infrastructure is a problem. So policy makers need to be very careful, or they need to keep all these in mind. Okay, what is one of the major challenges faced in the transition to renewable energy? Direct need for advancements in energy storage. I'm not going to it, directly mentioned, others are not mentioned. Okay, essential for a successful transition to renewable energy, mentioned very clearly. All easy questions here. Collaboration among various stakeholders. If you are able to identify easy questions, easy passages, your problem in the section is solved. Otherwise, speed can be a problem. Why is the transition to renewable energy described as becoming economically okay? That is clearly mentioned there, right? The cost of renewable technologies are decreasing. It is clearly mentioned in the passage. Okay. What does the term intermittent nature refer to? Okay, intermittent means what? Off and on, right? So what does it refer to? Does it refer to? Solar and wind. In the passage, it is in the context of solar and wind. So you can definitely infer that it refers to variability in energy production due to weather conditions. The sun and wind are obviously related to weather. Which of the following describes the tone of the paragraph? Definitely, it is a balanced tone. It is talking about the things that we need to keep in mind when we use renewable energy. All the other skeptical, dismissive, and indifferent are all negative. Okay, next. This is about innovation. Okay, this is about subparts. A little complicated for those who are not into these kind of technical topics. Subparts, okay. The subpart can be compared to. Here, subpart is something that is quite essential. At the same time, they are saying that it is often overlooked. Okay, so if it is essential, then what is the answer? The answer is the ingredients of a gourmet dish. Now you may say that all the ingredients in a dish are not overlooked. That is true, but then the subparts are essential. They are the basics. Okay. Can you say it's a foundation? No. Foundation is only one part. Okay. It's only one step. This is talking of subparts being relevant throughout. Okay. Now, finishing touches would be again the last step only. it doesn't reflect the essential nature. Hence, we go for C. Now, what is the primary reason? This is again a very, very direct question. Modern carpenters use CAD to revolutionize precision and enhance craftsmanship. Precision is very, very clearly mentioned, and you can infer this. Okay, I'm not discussing any of these because they are out of context. Overarching message conveyed by the passage means the dominant, prominent message regarding the significance of subparts. Okay, what does the passage talk about? What is the central idea of the passage? Very simple. What is it? They play a pivotal role in ensuring the quality and functionality. The others are all they belittle subparts, or they reduce the importance, underrate. Okay. Now, fusion of traditional craftsmanship and cutting edge technology. What is the term to describe it? Fusion means synergy. If you know the meaning of the word, absolutely no difficulty here. Dichotomy is the coexistence of two contradicting things. Paradox is contradiction. Outmodedness is being outdated. All are irrelevant. Now, here you have a statement. Subparts like dowels and screws are often overlooked in woodwork, and the reason for that is subparts play a crucial role in determining the structural integrity and functionality. Now, both these statements are true, but can this be the reason for subparts being overlooked? Definitely not. If it is essential, it cannot be a reason for it being overlooked. So both of them are true, but R is not the correct reason for the assertion. Okay. Author would agree with which of the following? Okay. Clearly mentioned that modern techniques have improved precision in subpart creation. That is mentioned, and the others are against the grain of the passage. Now, which of the following might the author cite as an example of the fusion, okay, of traditional and modern techniques? Now, if you look at it, use of CAD, modern technology, for designing of wood pieces, the designs are traditional. Decline of traditional, you can straight away eliminate. You're looking for fusion. Exclusive use of technology has no fusion. Abandonment of subparts, again, that is against the central idea. Hence, D is the answer. Okay. Now, given the author's position on the importance of subparts, what stand would the author take on the issue of using alternative materials? Now, the impulse may be to say that the author doesn't say anything, so his stand is unclear. However, you need to consider the tone, author's perspective, central idea. What is the central idea? Central idea is that we need to balance modern and traditional techniques. Okay, the question is, given the author's position on the importance of subparts, you have to take that into consideration. Okay, hope you understood. Next, which of the following lines summarizes the essence of the conclusion regarding the significance of subparts? Okay, we have already answered so many questions on this. We know it already, right? We know the answer. Fusion of tradition and innovation stresses the importance of subparts. That is it. Okay, fine. Not even discussing the other options because we have discussed this time and again. Now we have an easy passage, very easy passage here on dead zones. What is dead zones? Hypoxia. Zones with hypoxia in the water where oxygen is scarce, okay, and marine life is dying. So let's go to this. Very, very easy, all straightforward questions. I hope all of you got this right. How does hypoxia affect female fish reproduction? Directly mentioned that it decreases egg production. Very direct. Okay. What term is used in the passage to describe areas with significantly low levels? Areas are dead zones. Hypoxic waters, it's not an area, right? That is the difference. Hypoxia is about the waters, but the area refers to the zones. What effect do altered hormone levels during gestation have? Again mentioned that they inhibit female traits and promote the testosterone or male hormone, male traits. Okay. What broader ecological impact does declining oxygen levels have, as mentioned in the passage? Now, here it may be a little, A and B are easy to eliminate, right? Disruption of entire ecosystems. What the passage says is it disrupts ecosystem services. Ecosystem services not equal to entire ecosystems. However, degradation of marine biodiversity very clearly mentioned in the last part, loss of biodiversity. Hence, okay, any confusion, go back and check in the passage. That's all. During the exam too. Why is reproductive success critical for any species? According to the passage, it is mentioned that it is essential to continue the population, okay, to maintain genetic diversity. It says that uh, reproductive failure can lead to, okay, loss of genetic diversity. Here reproductive success is most critical to, you saw that part, right? So genetic diversity, that is the answer. Just wanted to show you that because it's a specific concept. So what is the answer? Ensures the continuation of genetic diversity. Next, which of the following implications of hypoxia is not mentioned in the passage? Again, very, very direct. If you just glance through it, competition is not mentioned anywhere. Everything else is mentioned. Gender ratio inferred, right? How can you infer it? Male hormones increase, so obviously it is at the reproductive stage, so the male population will increase. Little bit of inference there. And the last question here, in the context of the passage, which of the following best characterizes the term sustainability? Similar to what we read earlier, okay, that is maintaining the genetic diversity by ensuring reproductive success. So that is option B. Okay, all the others can be ruled. Okay, students, hope you found this discussion useful. Let's wind up. Do hold on. We have a little concluding session by Abhishek.
All right, students, I hope that this detailed analysis and solution session would have helped you a lot in analyzing your performance in today's paper. There might be some questions where you might have confusions, and also we would be happy to, if ensure it, just write in the comment box regarding the questions where you have some confusions. We will be definitely catering to those doubts of yours. We have also put an answer key of ours in our Telegram channel, that is CLATPREP study group. So you can go and download the answer key from there also. We'll be putting up a brief analysis on our website also soon regarding this paper analysis and expectations. And uh, now, as I said you in the start of the session, that in the end I'll be discussing about what can be the good score and what you should be scoring if you are willing to go to NLU Delhi through the AILET 2025. Now, answer is very simple. This paper is somewhere close to 2022 AILET and 2024 AILET. In some sense, in some ways related to AILET 2022. In some sense, it is related to AILET 2024. In AILET 2022, the cutoff was in 90s, 92s, like this. AILET 2023 had a shocker where they have changed the paper pattern and have given questions mixed from one single passage. There was one passage followed by question of English as well as reasoning. So that was a shocker for the student. Hence, the cutoff got down to a very lower level as compared to AILET 2022. But in AILET 2024, the cutoff has increased. So if I go by data in AILET 2024, 100 plus was the score where below which you cannot expect admission in NLU Delhi. Fine. Normally in AILET, uh, since the inception, we have seen that last rank which can get admission to Annual Delhi through AILET, after all the counselings and all the wait list goes over, it will be around somewhere between 105 plus minus, all India rank 105 plus minus 5. But interestingly, last year what happened is, uh, in AILET 2024, it, it closed below 70 rank. Fine. So keeping many variables in the mind, what I can predict is to be very much positive regarding the selection to Annual Delhi through AILET. 93, 95 plus score should be required in this paper if you are thinking that you have a chance to get to NLU Delhi. Fine. This is the first impression that we are going through. Rest will update it if we get some more data on it. So this is the first impression of AILET 2024-5. I hope that now you all will uh, prepare for SLAT exam. Those who are going to give SLAT exam, AILET CLAT is done. CLAT result has been out. AILET is done. Soon you will find AILET answer keys and results within a week's time. All the students who are preparing for SLAT, I wish them all the best. Prepare hard for SLAT exam also. After SLAT exam also, we will be coming up with first impression and brief analysis. Fine. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot for being such a patient listening crowd. All the best for all upcoming exams and results.